interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text FOG to 200-300 right now to save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings won't last long. Text FOG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word FOG to 200-300. Text FOG to 200-300.
Your new kitchen appliances look stunning.
Thanks. We had a blast shopping for them at National Appliance Warehouse. There's over 100 brands in their huge showroom. The best part was knowing everything was at the best price.
You must have done a ton of research.
Oh, we didn't need to. They use a cutting-edge technology called Price Assure. It searches prices online and updates electronic Price Assure tags in real time to make sure theirs is the lowest.
Lower than the big box stores.
Especially them, with much better service, too. And they do it all. Delivery, installation, everything.
National Appliance Warehouse in Wilmington.
Yes, they may not be the closest, but they'll make your wallet the happiest.
There's still time. The Labor Day mega sale is extended at National Appliance Warehouse. Save up to 35% on select GE appliances. National Appliance Warehouse has an unmatched collection of GE, Cafe, GE Profile, and Monogram appliances. Innovative and inspiring, you'll love GE appliances. Preview the savings at nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their easily accessible showroom on 202 in tax-free Wilmington.
Dust off those renovation plans and start designing that new kitchen of your dreams with some help from Colonial Marble and Granite. Colonial Marble and Granite is offering fully installed countertops for just $14.99 or an all-in kitchen for $6,999, including cabinetry, countertops, and sink and faucet package. You heard right, $6,999 all-in kitchen. Stop by a Colonial Marble and Granite area showroom to see their amazing selection of products or make an appointment for a free in-home consultation. Visit colonialmarble.net.
Day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Have you heard all the talk about fresh pet food? Well, at Dogs and Cats Rule, when it comes to fresh, healthy ingredients, we lead the way. Hi, I'm George Peretti, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing better nutrition-wise than fresh food for your pet. Stop in to one of our 7 neighborhood locations and ask our expert staff how a real, fresh, meat-based diet can change your pet's overall health and well-being. Shop online at dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
First-time homebuyers have a one-stop trusted partner with American Heritage Credit Union. With our first-time homebuyer program, you can earn up to a $500 lender credit. Our realtors can help you shop for your first home, and qualified borrowers can even receive up to $5,000 in first front door grants. To apply with one simple application, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH. All loans subject to credit approval, insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 433838.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Wednesday, September the 6th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app and, of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. You can get us on Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, K-A-Y-A-L. Dawn Stensland with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. On a Wednesday in which we will once again be joined by the great Tony Bruno coming up at 8:20 this morning. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great. Another heat wave.
Let's keep it going, baby. 94, 95. As John Fetterman once said, 95, 95, 95. Greg Stocker.
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, buddy.
We are loaded today.
Yeah, we are.
We got all sorts of goodies. Danielle Outlaw officially ousted. That'll be the big take this morning. Also, what it means moving forward for this city when it comes to fighting crime. Mask Madness is back. We told you it was going to happen, and it's already starting in Washington, D.C. schools. We'll get to that. And also, the harshest sentence to date for January 6th, plus all sorts of good stories in and around the cut sheet. Tony Bruno in the 8 o'clock hour. Bill Maher goes to task against the left, and a lot of other good things as we roll on this morning. But before we get to all of that, let's get to the news. Round number 1, 6:05. And for that, we give you the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning this Wednesday morning, September 6th. 79 degrees, headed up to 96. So a heat wave declared. We'll tell you how it will feel as far as the real feel temperatures with all the humidity and the heat and the closures as we begin this morning. Good morning. We're sponsored by Rhino Shield. As we told you here on Kayal and Company News Live, a breaking story yesterday about 9:47 as we learned that Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw is indeed stepping down. That's Nick Kayal's big take today, so I'll just put it there. But you did hear it first right here on Kayal and Company yesterday, right?
Yes, indeed.
In Montgomery County, the DA, Kevin Steele, who rode in the great fundraiser with our Nick Kayal, Montgomery County DA, charging Andres Marin for the death of that 7-year-old little girl in Plymouth Township. This is a follow-up story that we had talked about. The 48-year-old driver faces involuntary manslaughter as well as homicide by vehicle charges. This was just a tragic story. The victim and other neighborhood children ages 6 to 11 were riding their bikes and scooters outside, so they asked their neighbor, Marin, for a ride in his white 1996 Subaru Sambar truck. This was August 22nd. We reported it when it happened at the time. And since then, the DA, they've investigated the situation. So authorities say the 7-year-old little girl, she leans over the 11.5-inch sidewall and fell and struck her head on the pavement, and then she was run over by the truck. Horrific situation. He stopped, ultimately rushed her home, got her dad. They rushed her to the hospital. But at this point, they've learned after the investigation that this was not the first time Marin was giving neighborhood kids a ride like this. No other children were physically injured here, but they said that this was simply irresponsible. So now criminal charges.
Awful. You said that was a 1996 truck?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll for his next hearing, September 19th. So let's talk about the big search in Chester County. Yes, it continues. Day 7 this morning. Authorities moving and expanding that search area for the convicted killer who, yes, is in this country illegally and is wanted for murder in his home country of Brazil. So he had escaped from the Chester County prison last week after he was spotted on a trail camera at one of the nation's premier botanical gardens.
Yes.
34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante.
Our buddy Daniel Valdez, associate producer, is back this morning. I interrogated him earlier today. He has no idea.
Oh
that's
goodness.
good.
Yes.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
he's been.
Did not see him.
Yeah, we've excused him of any culpability.
Well, that's good.
But we have learned there was another inmate who had escaped back on May 19th named Igor Bolte. Igor.
Sounds like a Russian cartoon.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Igor.
So that guy, though, when he escaped, he actually was caught within 5 minutes. So at this point, we're learning a little more about...
He's a bad convict. We escaped 5 minutes later. I'm back in.
I'm back in.
I just took a stroll.
Yeah.
So we've also learned that as far as Cavalcante, who's still on the loose, he likely scaled up the prison roof and then jumped down to a less secure area to break free. So many in the community say they're weary of this. They say that, in fact, they're wondering what's taking so long. Police responding, and all those search crews responding, saying there's a lot of thick brush and tough terrain, and they're having to literally, it's like they're cutting through with machetes, cutting through the brush, trying to search for this guy.
I saw so many people like tweeting about it last night. Mark Frusetti was talking about it, and I was texting with Mark. I'm like, all these people that are like griping on social media, he's 5 feet tall, 120 pounds. How can we not find this little pipsqueak? Like, the longer he's on the run, his luck's going to run out. The odds are against him.
And the heat is against him.
And the heat's against him. They're going to find the guy. He's going to wither away, and eventually he'll tap out.
I don't know. He's from Brazil. It's hot there. He's probably used to. He's probably used to those places.
Those Americans think 95 is hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't seen anything yet.
Exactly.
Well, the Kennett Consolidated School District will be closed again today due to the search and all the road closures. More road closures today. Unionville Chadds Ford School District says it'll also close schools and offices today. All schools having a flexible instructional day.
Hell of a way to start the school year for Philadelphia and Philly suburb kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Between the heat wave, this escaped convict, nobody's going to school.
Yep, and then once they finally get back into school when it's like 87 degrees out, there'll be like this massive COVID outbreak, and they'll just send them home again.
Exactly.
Hang in there, moms. They'll be going to school soon. I know, I'm getting DMs and texts, and all these moms are like,
Yep.
You know, because they have the younger kids. They thought the older kids would be back to school. They're all upset. They're all cooped up because of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So police are still reminding you not to approach this guy. They say he's very volatile and a convicted killer. Call 911 or the U.S. Marshals tip line 877-WANTED-2. And reminder, $10,000 reward. By the way, the gardens there are always closed on Tuesday, but they will be closed as well today on Wednesday due to the search. Longwood was Longwood was the last place that he was seen. So just bringing that to your attention, they're closed again. Okay, our Phillies, well, after a come-from-behind win yesterday, Phillies lose to the Padres 9-0.
9-zip.
9-zip.
They're only a game and a half up on the Cubs for the first wild card spot.
You're starting to panic, aren't you, Stalker?
I'm not.
A little
No,
worried?
no, I'm not. No,
Okay.
no, I'm not.
All right.
But it's the wrong time to have a skid. You know, September's never the right time to.
Yeah. I'm looking at that Eagles-Patriots number. I'm still a little mystified.
3.5, right?
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It was 4.5 a week and a half ago.
I know. It's confusing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Still, it's football.
It is.
It's exciting.
Thank God.
So Phils wrap up the series in San Diego today, 4:10 p.m. Remember, though, the Phils beat the Padres. It was so exciting on Monday, and then the Phils delivering another come-from-behind win. That was Sunday against the Brewers after losing Friday and Saturday. So the Brewers did not sweep them. And, of course, Eagles, yes, as we say, the opener against the Patriots Sunday, but there's always Friday night football for high school.
Hell
for
yes.
us. Yeah, our Patriots, the Germantown Academy Patriots.
First game or second game?
This is, okay, yesterday if you count Gratz at the Battle of the Beach.
Okay.
So this one's whole school on Friday. But, I mean, for many teams, it's just great.
Okay.
It's how I mitigate the end of summer because I'm sad summer's ending. But
there's nothing like Friday
football.
Night Lights.
Summer ending. It's 96 degrees outside. Like, this is what I said. Look, everybody, Labor Day is the end of summer. No, it's not. September's always hot.
Yeah, when did we arrive at like Memorial Day and Labor Day being like the unofficial start and end of summer?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I hate hearing that, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
We are sponsored by Rhino Shield. Can make your next paint job your very last. Rhino Shield protecting your home is waterproof, affordable, and it looks great on any exterior surface, including stucco. Call John Gilgy today. Save an incredible 20%. 844-RHINO-99. That's 844-RHINO-99. NBC 10 First Alert forecast, 96 degrees today. It will feel as if it's 101. Heat wave continues through Friday when we do start to get some rain, and that rain lasts through the weekend. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Don, thank you very much. 6:12 on this Wednesday morning. Let's get to a midweek Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, the Big Take this morning. Outlaw ousted as Philly gets a new sheriff in town. Yesterday, as Kayal and Company was coming to a close, news came down that Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw is done. In a tweet that 6ABC framed, It said, quote, she will be leaving her role later this month for a new position. The mayor's office announced Tuesday morning. Talk about spin. She was fired. She was awful. She's gone. That said, she was not the only one truly to blame. The blame goes way up and above her. In my opinion, she was just the puppet in the absurd world of social justice. Social justice is a bunch of hogwash. It's always been that, and it always will be. In the defund the police era, or as I like to call it, the demonize and demoralize police era, we are going to make the good guys the bad guys and have remorse for the real bad guys. It's backwards, illogical, borderline insane thinking. But is it done in Philadelphia, or is this merely to save face and install another puppet, more concerned with protecting criminals than protecting citizens of society? But it can't be any worse, right? More of the same, probably. Better than before, possibly. A return to law and order and following the rule of law? I highly doubt that. But it's a slight victory for those who want a return to common sense policing, prosecutions, and ultimately justice. Outlaw's resignation, if you want to coin it that, comes just months before the end of the mayor's tenure and as crime has continued to plague the city. It's a common theme across all of the big blue cities in the United States of America. Outlaw's final day officially is September 22nd, where she will then become the Deputy Chief Security Officer of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. That's actually a very important role. But in my opinion, there was absolutely no way that Sherelle Parker, our soon-to-be next mayor of Philadelphia, wanted any part of her as the leader of the police department. In my opinion, this feels like a passive-aggressive managerial move, but one that I absolutely will take. Outlaw began in February of 2020. Months later, as we know, the summer of BLM riots following the death of George Floyd, and the rest is history. Outlaw, in my opinion, will be remembered by those with a functional brain as the head of a police department that saw a city endure 562 murders in 2021. That was a modern-day record, and those are the ones that are only accounted for officially. Mayor Jim Kenney had this to say yesterday about the performance of Outlaw over the last 3.5 years. Listen.
Commissioner Welch did a terrific job, and in very difficult times, unprecedented difficult times of pandemic, of civil unrest, of Donald Trump for 4 years.
Because we had COVID and Donald Trump and civil unrest. That man right there, Jim Kenney, will go down as possibly the biggest buffoon in the history of city politics. But the reality is this. Until you have leadership from the very top all the way down to the lowest level on the bottom that believes in law and order, justice, and protecting residents of a community, this will continue to happen. It's very simple. If you don't put the fear of God into criminals, they will continue to operate with impunity and blatant disregard for laws, rules, other human beings, businesses, and police officers themselves. Do yourself a favor one day. Examine police, district attorneys, and other civil servant offices across the United States. Find the cities that are bankrolled by George Soros. Look at them. The Soros-funded PDs and DAs will continue to do the bare minimum. And then do yourself a favor and look at the governments across this country that enforce laws, prosecute crimes, and jail and punish offenders. You won't see a dime from Soros or any other woke progressive stooge hell-bent on the breakdown of civility in America. Last February, Outlaw, along with other awful police personnel, such as Temple University Public Safety VP Jennifer Griffin, had this to say following the death of Temple University officer Christopher Fitzgerald. Take a listen to this.
A little bit after 7 o'clock this evening, in the 1800 block of West Montgomery Avenue, a Temple PD officer, tried to intervene during a carjacking and was shot. That officer was transported here to Temple Hospital, where unfortunately he was pronounced. While we'd like to give you more detail right now, we simply can't. It's an ongoing investigation. But we want to do everything that we can to not only offer our condolences to our Temple PD family, Temple community.
That was on February 18th, 2023. An outlaw will be remembered for the murder rates, soaring crime, some tone-deaf tweets in the past that almost came off when an officer was being investigated as if she was defending the rights of the criminal over the rights of the officers she's supposed to represent and back. Retired Sergeant Mark Fusetti, friend of the show, as well as Dawn and Dom's programs, texted me the following yesterday and wanted me to read this. Mark says the following: 1,872 murdered, 3 times that shot and injured, historic lows in manpower, officers on the brink of collapse both mentally and physically. Today, September 5th, is the day the Philadelphia Police Department can start to rebuild and save Philadelphia from the criminals. It is a great day. She's New York and New Jersey's problem now. That was Mark Fusetti, and I think it's well said and 100% accurate. It's time to restore law and order in Philadelphia, and yesterday was the first step, as small as it might be overall, in making sure that you and I are safe and the city's trash gets disposed of. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, if you guys have thoughts, 855-839-1210, the phone number, on Twitter or Instagram at 1210WPHT. And, of course, you can be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons and be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. We'll come back, get some reaction to the news from yesterday with Danielle Outlaw, and then also moving forward and thinking about the next step, or steps, I should say. What does this mean? Is this the beginning of hope and a new era in Philadelphia, or is this merely just window dressing and a splashy headline with no change really coming? We'll get into that on the other side. 855-839-1210. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. It's Kayal and Company on a Wednesday. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What's a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? There's only one way to know. Go win a magical vacation package to experience an amazing collection of thrills. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, you and your family take control of the Millennium Falcon or launch into the exhilarating world of the Grid on the all-new Tron Light Cycle Run, presented by Enterprise. It's one of the fastest coasters in Disney Park history. Just listen to Kayal and Company weekday mornings at 9:50 for the daily keyword and enter it at 1210WPHT.com/contests for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Get your thrill on. Limit 1 entry per day per person. This is a national contest.
Designers, excavators, engineers, architects, listen up.
What are you doing? We're working here.
If you want to save time, effort, and money on your next underground utility project, start using Pennsylvania One Call System's Coordinate PA application. Coordinate PA is the next generation of utility coordination that allows you to easily transfer and manage your complex projects from start to finish, all the way from the designer to the excavator. Be prepared for your next underground utility project with Coordinate PA.
Makes sense.
Visit pa1call.org to learn more.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll make every move matter. Locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America N.A.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Kremlin is reportedly running low on ammunition and is trying to persuade North Korea to sell them military equipment. Several died and hundreds had to be rescued on the mid-Atlantic coast due to strong rip currents. And First Lady Jill Biden has tested positive for COVID.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaris and Mark Cumberland at a special time this Saturday night at 6. Find out everything you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com and listen to Good News in Real Estate this Saturday night at 6.
Hey, it's Rich Izzioli. The shows we co-host at Parks Casino Club 360 always sell out. So here's another chance to join me for a night of laughter. It's Joe Conklin's Comedy Night with MC Mike Baldini, Thursday, September 7th at 8 p.m. at Club 360 Parks Casino. Enjoy great comedy with Taylor Mason. Tickets are just $20 and include your first drink. Doors open at 7 p.m. Go to parkscasino.com/comedy. Must be 21. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'll see you there on Thursday, September 7th.
Rich Zioli this afternoon, 3 till 7. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Wait a minute, baby. Stay with me, why? Said you give me life, but you never told me about the fire.
6:25 Wednesday morning. Welcome back in, Kayal and Company, as we continue. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The great Tony Bruno is going to join us coming up at 8:20 this morning. Of course, the cut sheet at 7:45, and once again, be listening this morning at 9:50.
There we go.
9:50 for the Walt Disney World keyword.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a keyword, and you're going to have to go to 1210wpht.com, and you can enter that keyword right there for your chance to win a vacation to Disney World. Limit one entry per day per person, and of course, you can cry about it and complain about it in the YouTube chat. That it's not good enough for you.
And by the way, 9:20, we're giving away Reading Phillies tickets. So
I mean,
the 9 o'clock hour is actually.
Oh, just double A baseball tickets? I don't like that.
The 9 o'clock hour is actually the hour to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm actually going to check out until about 8:20 until Bruno gets here. 855-839-1210 is the number. But yesterday, a very interesting day, as we mentioned in the big take about Danielle Outlaw resigning. That news coming down right around 9:45, 9:50 before we wrapped up the show, and Dawn took over at 10. Dawn, I want to get your thoughts and reaction to the way yesterday transpired. And really, if you kind of read through like the press release and then you hear Jim Kenney's comments, I mean, in your opinion, was this a firing with like giving her or helping her find a soft landing spot, or is she really stepping aside for this new opportunity in her career?
No, she knew that she's. I had heard, and we had talked about this, that she was interviewing, she was looking for a job, and even remember she had interviewed for the job in New York, for the commissioner's job when they had an opening. So she wanted to get out of here. She knows she has been a disaster. Yeah. I know that what I always hear is, like, she's a nice person. She's a nice person and a good person. This is nothing about her overall, integrity as a person. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I understand that. And that's tough when you're in a top job. But you know what? nice? What if we were all just nice,
Right.
but we were incompetent?
That's correct.
And our jobs don't depend on the safety of a city that right now is desperate for leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So this was, look, let's be real here. The Griffin at Temple.
Yeah, Jennifer
and
Griffin.
Dr. Griffin at Temple, and I interviewed the police union head yesterday talking about her. They hope that Temple does the same, follows suit, and replaces her.
Sure.
After Sergeant Fitzgerald's murder.
Yep.
Slaughter on the streets.
Execution.
But these two individuals, well, especially Danielle Outlaw, I just think the priority was checking boxes. Oh, we want the first African-American woman to lead the police force, instead of saying, hey, let's look for the best possible person, the most qualified person.
Yeah.
Well, I know full well there were others right here in Philadelphia and certainly across the country who were heads and shoulders more qualified.
Mm-hmm.
I know, we all know that, in fact, she did tough things happen with the pandemic, with the summer of the George Floyd, all of those riots and the devastation and millions upon millions of dollars in damages. And by the way, many officers injured here in Philadelphia and across the country with the BLM riots that happened. Nobody really talks about the damage to the businesses, how many businesses moved out, and all of those officers who, some of them, were hospitalized for many, many months.
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand that this was a tough time, but that's why we needed leadership, experienced leadership.
Correct.
Not a rookie, not a DEI hire.
A majority of the DEI hires across this country, whether it's Kamala Harris as vice president on down to district attorneys, police commissioners, like, you're not fooling anybody when you do this. Like, and this is why I always talk about meritocracy. The most qualified, talented people get the position, regardless of race, religion, gender, sexual orientation. I don't care what you are, but I do care that you're competent. And I was texting with Mark and a few other people, and they were telling me, and the general consensus was, there's nothing worse, and this goes to any walk of life, much less being in policing or in the criminal justice system. There's nothing worse than knowing that your boss does not 100% have your back. And, like, imagine being a police officer in this day and age, knowing that every single step you take is under a microscope, and if there's any shred of doubt, your PD, your commissioner, your sergeant, they're not going to have your back. They're not. We are at a point where it's so crazy that any sliver of, well, did he overstep his bounds as an officer? You're probably done, because they don't want to deal with the liability, the lawsuits, and everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible.
Leadership matters, and you think about in the city of Philadelphia right now, the culture of crime and how many years it'll take us to dig out of the culture. And obviously, it's not just Danielle Outlaw. We have the trifecta. We have Krasner, Kenny, and Outlaw.
It's been pinned on my Twitter profile since New Year's Day when you and Larry did the Mummers Parade. And there were people walking downtown, and I've got it up here if you could see it on the camera. It's Stink, Stank, and Stunk. And you've got Kenny, Krasner, and Outlaw's heads on the cardboard cutouts. Well, one of the three are gone. We still have two more to get rid of. And the second one's on the way out in a matter of months as well.
Just remember, though, the devil you know is sometimes better than the devil you don't know, because look what happened in Chicago. Lori Lightfoot was supposed to be, her ouster was going to be the rebuilding of Chicago, and the
Paul
person
Vallis lost to Brandon Johnson.
The person who's in there now is 10 times worse.
Yeah, I know.
So,
however, the person in there now is not from Chicago. He's an outsider who grew up he was basically from the border of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Sherelle Parker has been, she was my district representative for years. And I mean, she's from the city. She knows the city. They wanted her.
Yeah.
So I mean, and Greg, I'm just trying to be hopeful. I'm like, oh my God, please, God.
Yeah. It's like it can't
lighting candles and praying.
It's like it can't be worse, right?
Yeah.
And you sit there and you talked about Kenny and Outlaw. Well, she wanted to get out of here and she wanted to go to New York. And, Kenny has said for months that he can't wait to, can we start with, forget qualified people. Can we start with people that actually want to do the job and be here? Mm-hmm. I just Philadelphia. It's just, I can't wait to get out of here. It's like, if you don't like it, then just leave now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, and you said, Danielle Outlaw, a nice person, whatever. But try telling that to officers that felt like she was never 100% supporting them, or to the families of crime victims where, we live in this no cash bail society and all this other stuff.
Yeah, this has been a disaster. And we've gone through a period, and I think history will look back on the lack of leadership in Philadelphia and judge it differently and see it differently. And I know that there were a lot of kind words and people just saying, oh, yeah, she's nice, bye-bye. But behind her back, they're not saying such nice things.
Mm-hmm. This is a tweet that's actually directly what Stalker just said. Ford 350 checks in on Twitter. He says, don't get your hopes up. Chicago got rid of Lightfoot and see what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and as I speak, and saying Sherelle Parker's from here, Jim Kenney grew up here, South Philadelphia. I mean, how many people call in and say, I grew up with him, what happened to him? And I'd covered him as a council member. Something happened where it seemed like you said, he checked out. He was having Prosecco in the suburbs or Maryland, right? And he didn't want to be here.
Yeah. Well, Tony Bruno, who's going to join us at 8:20, lifelong South Philadelphia resident, and then for a while went to Los Angeles and San Francisco, and then he came back home 7 or 8 years ago, and was living, he had a row home again in South Philadelphia, fixed up his mom's place, and he got so sick of all the lawlessness and the crap, and in the last year and a half, 2 years, Tony Bruno relocated to Southwest Florida. And he's about as Philly as it gets.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've had it with this place. I'm getting the hell out of here. And there he is now in Florida, and he'll be joining us at 8:20 this morning. 855-839-1210. And then just beyond Philadelphia police for a second, I wanted to go back to Jennifer Griffin. I had a friend over the weekend text me who went to Villanova, and he likes to remind me that he went to Villanova. And he's like,
and you went to Temple.
Yeah, and I went to Temple. Yeah, I'm the deplorable. I'm the lesser public school. You went to the one public school in the city. Okay. He's asking me, he's like, dude, what's going on with the lawlessness and the crime issues on Temple's campus? And that's another thing. You mentioned Jennifer Griffin. I've only been out of college for 17 years. I graduated from Temple in 06. And look, nobody's going to ever mistake North Broad for the main line. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, today, whatever you have it. I've had people text me like, this school, in less than 20 years, that campus has gone from being in a rough part of town to, I can't wait to get out of this school, or I regret going here because it's just so bad. Like if you've ever been down there on Diamond Street and you're on the property of the campus, you're in a relatively, quote, safe spot. But the second you step out and go one block one way or the other, especially right now in 2023, I don't envy any of those students, 18 to 22.
And the sad part of that is that, and as you know, because you graduated, you're an alum of Temple. Temple is an amazing school. I mean, I think of Lou Klein, one of my mentors, who the Journalism Communication School is named after, the late, great Lou Klein. I think of all their business school, although they had some scandals more recently, but it's a great education, and especially their journalism and communications program. So we're rooting for them, but I do think, and yeah, okay, they're in a rough section of town, but in the past they've been able to mitigate that.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have somebody who she was touted, I know she was Dr. Griffin was a PhD, or is a PhD, was a state trooper in Delaware. But again, I simply think she was over her head. There's a big difference between being a state trooper in Delaware and then getting your master's, which is great, your PhD, and being quote unquote book smart. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can translate and move to Philadelphia. This is the big city. This is big time and big crime. And so lives are at stake. Look at the tragedy with Sergeant Fitzgerald. That was avoidable. He was by himself. That shouldn't have happened. And I know it's the defund police movement as well. And so all of this has an effect, and we've put that in perspective. But I still believe that her actions in and around that time period warrant a second look by Temple. And I do think that they are looking. And I think that she'll be out of there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where I said that Temple University, the bang for the buck you got was the best value in education in the city because they have a lot of great departments. But now it's like, do I want to pay $10 to go to Temple and fear for my safety, or do I want to pay $15 and go to a little pricier school and actually know that, I walk away a block off campus, I'm not running into a part of town where, my safety is a major, major concern. But I think the big picture at the end of all of this, until we get out of this absurd world of giving the criminal every benefit of the doubt and no cash bail and, these officers that are basically like, yeah, let them do whatever until it's absolutely necessary. We can't intervene in fear of lawsuits or whatever it might be. Until we take almost no holds barred approach, this will continue. I mean, it's happening in Austin, Texas. It's happening in Los Angeles, San Francisco. It's a common theme in every big city that has either a Soros-funded DA, chief of police, commissioner, on down the list. So it's like, yes, I crush Danielle Outlaw, and she deserves a lot of it. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, she gets a lot of the blame, but there's certainly people above her. It's like the football coach that is like a lame duck, and you want to crush him, but it's really the owner. Yeah, like that's what I feel like we're dealing with here. And until that mantra changes, post-summer 2020, BLM riots, and all this social justice. I'm so tired of hearing that phrase, by the way, what is social justice? We just give the criminals every benefit of the doubt? DAs are now defense attorneys, basically? Yeah. I mean, stop.
Social justice means no justice.
That's correct.
And the victims look at right here in Philadelphia, in our neighborhoods. Look at the difference, to your very point. And a gentleman said this to me yesterday when I said, everybody's talking about this fugitive out in Chester County. Mm-hmm. And he said, look at what they do when they have one dangerous criminal, convicted killer. He said, do you know how many killers or convicted killers that might not be prison escapees, but do you know how many dangerous felons are right here in my neighborhood and in Philadelphia? Mm-hmm. But look at the culture and the zero tolerance in places like the suburbs or certain cities or communities. There's zero tolerance for it.
Yeah.
Here in Philadelphia, we become sort of numb to it. That's not a good thing.
No. And social media makes it worse. The mainstream media makes it worse. There's so many people that are complicit in this lawless society type of world we are living in over the last 3 years. The mainstream media, politicians, you name it, on down the list. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm an officer and I'm getting paid $58,000 a year or whatever it is, and my morale's never been lower. I'm mentally exhausted. I'm physically exhausted. And every single day I got to worry about, whether I'm going to go home at the end of the night, not just because of crime or the dangers of the job, but now all the added rigors in the last 3.5 years. You couldn't pay me enough to do that job. You really couldn't. 855-839-1210 if you would like to jump in. Coming up next, we told you it was on the verge of happening. Mask Madness. It's all setting up. First Jill, then Whoopi. Joe's throwing the mask back on. Now all the big cities and big school districts, including Washington, D.C., are putting N95 masks back on your kids. Guaranteed it's going to come to Philadelphia. It might be here in Philadelphia before Halloween at this rate. I would not rule it out. We'll get into that when we come back. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, it's Kayal and Company. Good to have you in here on a Wednesday morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
That's right. The NFL season opens up this weekend. Nick and I were discussing earlier about the 3.5 points favorites for the Eagles on Sunday. I thought it would be a lot higher. A week and a half ago it was about 4.5 points, but still, it's a good bet to get behind. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Plus, and this is a big plus, and this is my favorite offer of the season, truthfully, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. I love the FanDuel app. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props, so much more. Visit FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg right now. This is an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT and is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present at PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not have withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds, terms, and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan is required. To watch YouTube TV, redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
You got the alert this morning. Now get the whole story. Count on NBC 10 News today.
It's more than just headlines. It's news to get you ready for your day.
If you need motivation, here we go. We've got your playbook.
The most accurate hour-by-hour weather forecasts.
Traffic info to get you there and back easier. It's all you need to get up, get ahead, and stay ahead.
Make your mornings count with NBC 10 News today. Count on it.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
Hi, I'm Mark Luca, president of Aqua Pennsylvania. Aqua wants to help you avoid costly and unsafe sewer backups. Don't flush disinfectant or other hygiene wipes down the toilet. Even flushable wipes can cause backups in household plumbing and larger blockages in wastewater collection systems. Dispose of all wipes in the trash instead. Also, don't flush tissues, napkins, or paper towels, which can also contribute to clogs in pipes. Aqua Pennsylvania, an Essential Utilities company.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Back to school time is the perfect time for your child or grandchild to get ahead. If your child needs support, special tutoring, custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to make the call to METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company for over 30 years. METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance for your child to help them succeed. Visit online, metc.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly, info@metc.com. Remember, 1210 listeners get a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville with Paul Wyants and Brendan Donegan. Saturday, November 18th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. As the store's owner, I want our clients treated with respect. I want our employees to have extensive product knowledge and be genuinely engaged with our clients. Our pricing is competitive, but our client attention is second to none. When considering a new car, consider Cherry Hill Volvo. Contact me directly. Relationships really do matter to us.
Calling on Percy to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
6:47. Welcome back in. Kayal and Company live here on a Wednesday morning. It's good to have all of you aboard. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Of course, you can get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Cut sheet just 1 hour out. Also coming up this morning, Tony Bruno at 8:20 and at 9:50 this morning. Once again, your chance to get a keyword for a possible free family trip to Walt Disney World. And we will be doing that each and every day this week at 9:50 this morning. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. But we've been saying that this was going to happen. And it's starting. And it starts in one city, and then another city will pick it up. And next thing you know, it gets to Philadelphia, and kaboom, here we are. But in the last, let's call it 48 to 72 hours, Jill Biden has tested positive for COVID yet again. Apparently yesterday, Whoopi Goldberg did not make her appearance on The View. She's got COVID again. And also Karine Jean-Pierre saying that Joe Biden will be wearing a mask. You'll hear some of that coming up at 7:45 on the cut sheet. And, of course, you know that these schools, as we are now in the back-to-school phase of September, they're just waiting and they're just tracking. And then before you know it, your kid will be back in a mask. They'll be closing down and sanitizing the school and going through the whole rigmarole that they did in 2020 and 2021. And it took all of about 48 hours for this to start. So yesterday, a District of Columbia area elementary school in Washington, D.C., this is Montgomery County, Maryland, is reinstating a mask mandate, N95 masks for third graders over a few kids testing positive for COVID. And I actually have the letter from the principal that was sent out to parents. And this was on September the 5th, so this was just yesterday. Dear parents of students, and they crossed out some of the names of the students to protect their identities. This letter is to inform you that 3 or more individuals have tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 10 days. We are taking the following steps to keep our school environment as safe as possible for in-person teaching and learning, and to prevent further transmission of COVID-19 in this group. There's 3 bullet points. Additional KN95 masks have been distributed, and students and staff in identified classes or activities will be required to mask while in school for the next 10 days, except while eating or drinking. Masks will become optional again following the 10-day period. At-home rapid test kits will be sent home and made available for students. The CDC recommends testing at least 5 days after an exposure, and please report any positive COVID results to the school attendance office. We will continue to reinforce good hand washing and follow cleaning and disinfection procedures. Please contact me if you have additional questions. Sincerely, Principal Rebecca Irwin Kennedy. 3 kids in an elementary school test positive for COVID, and they are now going back to masks for third graders. After we just played this yesterday for you on the cut sheet, where we had the back and forth with Fauci, and I forget who it was from CNN. It was Smirkanish. Mm-hmm. And they were having this discussion about the effectiveness, and they were citing one of those studies that basically arrived at the conclusion that masks made little to no difference at all. And what happens the first time there's a little bit of an outbreak in a school, like in Washington, D.C., in elementary school nonetheless, where we know young, healthy children almost at no risk.
Well, let me ask you this. As a parent of 2 girls,
yes,
what would you want the school to do in a situation like this?
Tell the kids that tested positive for COVID, stay home, and when you feel better, come back.
Okay.
Like, I don't understand, like,
I don't disagree with you. I'm just curious.
It's just so maddening.
Yeah.
That, like, this is never going to go away. So are we going to just do this for the rest of humanity? Yeah. Every time a couple of Johnny's and Jill's get COVID?
It seems like it. It seems like it.
And then I see some of these tweets, and this story went viral yesterday. Ron DeSantis' war camp quoted, thankfully kids in Florida will not have to go through this hell since Ron DeSantis permanently banned school mask mandates 2 years ago. And then also one other leading COVID writer said the commitment from school administrators to hurt children with pointless, ineffective mask mandates is horrifying and apparently permanent. There's no evidence that masks work to stop viruses, and kids should not be wearing N95s. This is the damage Tony Fauci and the CDC have caused. Like, I was making like a tongue-in-cheek comment, in August and in July. Like, by the time we get to Thanksgiving, we're going to have that, hey, you were in a congregational setting. We're going to go to, out of precautionary measures, we're going to reinstate the mask mandate post-holiday break. We're not even, we haven't even made it to Halloween yet.
Yeah, we need a better solution for it, because you're right, it's never going to go away. So every time one kid or two kids test positive for COVID, we're going to go,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do they do with the flu? What do they do with colds?
Like,
I know this is more transmissible, but still, it's not, there's no evidence to show that unless the kids are really immunocompromised, excuse me,
which in that case, I'm fine.
Yeah, but there's no evidence that it's nothing more than a cold for them.
Right. And the evidence that we do have with schools and COVID is the disruption in learning that has really set students so far back. I've got this story from September 3rd here from the New York Post about how COVID disrupted the formative learning years, leaving kids still to struggle with basic reading skills. And it goes through where third graders and fourth graders across the country are in math and reading compared to where they should be with students from 4 years ago, pre-pandemic, in the year 2019. And it's staggering. If you want like concrete evidence, this is the concrete evidence right here. Masking your kid versus COVID, little to no effect. Taking your kid out of school or putting a mask over them in these early developmental years, where seeing facial expressions is how they react and respond and learn, devastating. So we're going to set back another generation of kids because of a few people testing positive and some left-wing teachers that are hysterical about it, that play a power play game with the union. Great.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
And whatever happens, so think about what's going on with schools and what could be harmful. So the flu, strep, right?
Mm-hmm.
RSV for babies.
Yep.
So at what point, a lot of these schools don't even have a school nurse. First of all, I'm a big advocate for school nurses, and I wish they had a mental health person too, quite frankly, which oftentimes your school counselor is. But with that regard, whatever happened to just saying if they have a fever, send them home.
Yeah. Like that's what we used to do back in the day at work. If you're sick, call off. Yep. Stay home. And you don't need to announce it. Yeah. I recently tested positive for COVID. I'm vaccinated. I have mild symptoms, but I'll be working remotely. Nobody cares. No one cares that your nose is running.
Well, but in schools, usually the policy is if you've had, for a teacher or a student, if you've had a fever within the past 24 hours, don't go to school or work because you're highly contagious at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times do you read that they say, usually by the time you figure it out, you go get tested, you've already had it.
Right.
You already went through the highly contagious point.
Yeah.
And now finally that you realize everything, you're actually not really that contagious anymore.
Right. And then we got to do the contact tracing, and then we're going to re-implement those little stupid things on the floor with the social distancing. Stay 6 feet apart from the next customer. I went to the post office yesterday. By the way, big fan of going to the post office, old school style. I don't print my stamp. I go back, buy the old little booklet like my dad used to. And I wanted to send my girls a couple of cards. And they had already, the two ladies working in the post office, God bless them, they're sitting there, sir, could you please back up a little bit and give the other customer a little distance? And I'm looking back, and I'm like, okay. And I'm looking down on the floor, and in the post office in Bluebell, they still have those big circular stickers that were laminated onto the floor. Maintain 6 feet. I'm like, haven't we realized that was a facade as well? Like, I would have had those things permanently removed the day we realized it doesn't work.
That's funny.
You'll start to see them at your local pharmacies again. Watch. Your local Walgreens or CVS. When you go to pick up your prescription, maintain some distance, please. And then you're going to have some lunatic with a KN95 on, staring there looking at you. You're not able to hear a word they say. And then you're the one that's out of line.
You're out of line.
What did you say?
Close.
Yeah.
I will say, be careful what you wish for to the teachers union leadership, not to teachers, because I think a lot of teachers are fed up with so much that's happening, especially with their union leadership.
You're talking about the Randys
Talking
of the
about
world.
Randy.
It really pisses me off.
But what really might pee her off is when parents start saying, you know what, sometimes Zoom learning is pretty good, and pushing for things like school choice because they want a greater voice within what's happening within their child's education.
Yep.
So they should be careful because these issues, there are some situations, especially in high school and colleges, we're now seeing more of that Zoom learning or remote learning, and you can learn from some of the best teachers worldwide. Now you can open it up. So they should be cautious as far as pushing this too much. But part of me, I have to be honest, part of me hopes that they do this right before the 2024 election, just to remind everybody. And that's why I think this won't be implemented as a mandate.
Right.
Because ultimately they know with parents how unpopular this is, and we do have 2024 moving forward.
Well, and you heard Fauci yesterday in that clip we played saying the federal government cannot mandate mask mandates, but all they have to do is recommend them, and then the CDC put out a recommendation, and then all your local governments, municipalities, hospitals, doctors' offices, school districts, then they see that, and then they start to get all, hysterical, and here comes the mandates. By the way, according to this study on the detrimental effects of COVID on kids and their learning, it will take an extra 4.1 months of instruction to catch up to pre-COVID reading levels. So, as you mask up Johnny, just know that he's going to be falling behind in reading, all for the sake of political theater. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Hour 2 is on the way. Dawn will have some news, and I actually have to give the Biden administration a little bit of credit. They are going to be doing something with the NFL that I think is very, very smart in swing states. We'll explain on the other side. It's Kayal and Company as we continue. Hour 2 next on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Sebastian Maniscalco, live in Atlantic City.
Like when we went to the zoo as kids, that's all you got was the zoo. You ate in the car before we go in. What? They got food inside. You think I'm gonna pay? And when you got hungry, you left. Dad, I'm hungry. Okay, let's go.
Sebastian Maniscalco, Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa for 10 shows from November 9th through 18th. Get tickets now at theborgata.com.
For all of you who love to cook Italian, here's a mouth-watering message from Cento.
Baked lasagna, manicotti, clam sauce with linguine, chicken parmigiana, and tuna capellini, gnocchi alla rosa sauce, pomodoro frittata, pappardelle, perciatelli, pasta caponata.
How do you give those dishes authentic old-world flavor? Authentic Italian cooking begins with Cento. Cento for taste that sings. Cento. Trust your family with our family.
Hey Philly, are you looking for a great deal on a new Infiniti? Well, look no further than the Bush Auto Group. They have 2 Infiniti dealerships conveniently located in Westchester and Ardmore, PA. And this month only, you could score rates as low as 2.9% on select vehicles. And every vehicle purchase comes with over $3,000 in bonus value to help drive down the cost of vehicle ownership. Trust me when I say this, if you want to ride in style and save some serious cash, the Bush Auto Group's where it's at. Visit in-store or online today at bushautogroup.com, and remember, Philly rides with us.
Cozy Jewelers isn't an ordinary jeweler. They create beautiful, one-of-a-kind heirlooms designed to stay in your family for generations. So for something extra special for your anniversary, or just because, choose Cozy. With over a century of combined experience, Cozy Jewelers artisans know every piece and moment should be magical. Before you buy off the shelf, experience handcrafted custom jewelry from local specialists with the 5 C's of diamonds: cut, color, clarity, carat, and cozy. COZZIJewelers.com.
Russian officials recently revealed a new global supercurrency backed by physical gold will be announced on August 22nd with support from China, India, and other countries. Many economists warn this could radically change the world economy and possibly destroy the value of the dollar. And that means the value of your 401k or IRA is at risk. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I want to urge you to protect yourself and your family right now. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word hedge to 989898. August 22nd will be here before you know it. So take action today. Fortify your nest egg using the power of gold inside of a tax advantage account. Text HEDGE to the number 989898. That's HEDGE, HEDGE, to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs right now.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When you're involved in an accident, you need a lawyer to help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value of your case. You need the law offices of Thomas G. Skopanich. My buddy Tom has been serving the greater Delaware Valley for over 25 years, and he's helped many clients. With offices located in Lansdale, Montgomery County, let Tom help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value for your case. Contact Tom at scopelawyer.com or 215-624-2211.
Navigation, take me to Turnersville Jeep.
TurnersvilleJeep.com wants you to select from over 400 new Jeeps and Rams today. Choose from Renegades, Compasses, Gladiators, 2-door and 4-door Wranglers, 2-row and 3-row Grand Cherokees, including hybrids, which can save you hundreds per month on gas and payments. TurnersvilleJeep.com wants to pay you above market value for your vehicle today. TurnersvilleJeep.com on Route 42 in Turnersville. Drive a little, save a lot at TurnersvilleJeep.com.
Miller Lite has high hopes for the Phillies this season. So catch every game at the Beaver Creek Tavern in Downingtown with a $3.25 Miller Lite Pint Special. The Beaver Creek Tavern features an extensive pub menu like the St. Louis barbecue pork ribs and the Philly cheesesteak flatbread. The Beaver Creek Tavern also features 3 widescreen TVs and 12 great beers on tap. So enjoy every Phil's game at the Beaver Creek Tavern in Downingtown. A proud partner of WIP's High Hopes Pod with James Seltzer and Jack Fritz. It's Miller time, Phillies fans. Celebrate responsibly.
When you call Oliver Heating and Cooling, you get reliable service for your home's heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems. Just like your car needs regular service and an oil change, your AC system needs an annual tune-up to make sure it's running safely and efficiently all summer. Our technicians will do a complete inspection for only $70. We service all makes and models and guarantee our work. Call Oliver today to schedule your appointment for a tune-up or visit us online at oliverheatcool.com. Oliver Heating and Cooling. Peace of mind for your home and business.
Innovation Refunds, helping small businesses who qualify to get a business payroll tax refund through the ERC. That's the Employee Retention Credit. Okay, it's a tax refund for businesses that kept employees on the payroll for parts of 2020 and 2021. Some really tough years. Businesses with more than 5 employees could have money just waiting to be claimed. So if your business was facing challenges to the growth that it would have had without the pandemic, government orders, it may be eligible for a substantial refund too. Innovation Refunds survey research shows a large number of small businesses who had between 5 to 500 full-time employees in 2020 as well as 2021. I should say either or, 2020 or 21, might be eligible for that ERC tax deduction. So they have hundreds of 5-star reviews, by the way, on Trustpilot, as well as DuckDuckGo, Google, wherever you look there, search it for yourself. They're also accredited with the Better Business Bureau. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or you can dial 1-843-REFUNDS. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. They work with an independent network of tax professionals, and they're going to share information with them to evaluate and then process your claims for you to kind of weave you through all of that bureaucracy. All the terms and conditions apply. That's Innovation Refunds.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, 7:05, hour 2 underway here on a Wednesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stenzel, and Greg Stocker. Valdez and Lorenzo here as well. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45? Tony Bruno at 8:20. Disney trip giveaway at 9:50. Reading Phillies tickets for the morning mystery movie clip at 9:20. We got all sorts of good stuff coming up. Also including this hour, the Biden administration taking an interesting approach, and I think it's rather clever, and you're going to notice it this weekend. We will give you those details coming up here in just a little bit. And apparently, Democrats love Chris Christie. We'll get to that story as we continue this morning, and also the stiffest punishment and sentence to date in regards to anybody involving January the 6th. We're going to get to that story and also some thoughts, because it's probably going to be an unpopular or an unpredictable opinion. It's not what you think I normally would say. We'll get to that coming up here in just a few minutes. But before all of that, let's get round number 2 of the news. And for that, at 7:07, we go to Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. We are sponsored this morning by Best Work Industries on this Wednesday, September 6th, 80 degrees. I'll tell you how hot it's going to get. Day 7 of the manhunt for the escaped killer, a 5th sighting of this convicted murderer, Danilo Cavalcante. He is, yes, convicted here in America of murder and recently convicted in his trial and was going to a max security prison, but escaped from that Chester County prison last Thursday. But as you know, he's wanted for murder in his home country, which is why authorities in Brazil say he fled his home country and came to this country illegally.
Ah.
Yes.
So I wonder if that will change anybody's views on the border and the wall and our southern border policy once it shows up on your back porch.
Well, that's a great point. They're now saying, the authorities now saying, and this is a minute-by-minute situation, making national news. A lot of the national morning shows this morning leading off with this and live from Chester County. So now it is making the national news. But you won't hear them talk about the fact that he came to this country illegally.
No. Philadelphia never makes the national news for anything good. You ever notice that?
No.
We boo Santa Claus. We've got a killer on the loose. The only time we talk about Philly was when all hell breaks loose.
It's well put. So they're saying now this morning in this investigation, although the feds are involved and there are local authorities involved, state police, Pennsylvania State Police are technically leading the investigation and the search for this guy. But they're saying that he's becoming more desperate. And as he becomes more desperate, he becomes more dangerous. They already say he's very volatile. So warning all the residents in Chester County after his escape from prison last week, do not approach him. If you think you see this guy, call 911, lock your windows, lock your doors. And in fact, they've canceled school once again on this Wednesday. They were supposed to go back to school yesterday. No school for the kiddies in Chester County.
And the shoot-to-kill order is still in place for civilians?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
So we've talked about this morning, and if you missed Nick's big take, he gave a great big take on the Philadelphia Police Commissioner. Danielle Outlaw resigned after 3.5 years. We also have an arrest, 2 people arrested in Philadelphia after a huge theft from the KOP Mall from that beautiful Gucci store. Nearly 30 grand of Gucci items, designer items. So they have some arrests and trying to recover all of that stolen merchandise.
30 grand of merch.
Yeah.
Wow.
30. Jeez.
Okay.
Whoosh. More and more crime at KOP. We have another headline at Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio getting a record 22 years in prison for January 6th, the seditious conspiracy charges. He was sentenced. I'll headline that when I know Nick will talk about it. And while we were off last week, locally from the Northeast Philadelphia, Zachary Reel, he received 17 years behind bars for his sentence. And we also told you earlier this morning that the Montgomery County DA, after a full investigation, charging Andres Marin for the death of a 7-year-old little girl in Plymouth Township, 48-year-old man facing involuntary manslaughter as well as homicide by vehicle after a tragic accident. And everyone acknowledges it was an accident with this little girl when he was giving a bunch of kids a ride in the back of his Subaru Sandbar truck, a 96 truck. But the DA, Kevin Steele, coming to the conclusion with investigators that, in fact, this was highly irresponsible behavior, and it was not the first time. This was routine to give the kids, without the parental permission, say, hey, kids, you want to ride in the back of my pickup truck? So those charges are now official. And that's a Kayal and Company News follow-up. And I will tell you, as far as our Phils, who lost last night 8-0 against the Padres, but we talked about, what happened, and what did you say? It's not a good time for a stanky period. What did you say? It was not a good
stretch?
time for. No, you had a word for it. Greg Stocker had a word for it.
Oh,
I don't
Stocker.
remember.
I don't
Okay.
remember.
That was an hour ago.
That was an hour and 12 minutes ago.
I have no idea.
We started at 6 a.m.
I don't know what I did
Well,
5 seconds ago.
it's not a time to choke.
Yeah.
But the Phillies placing Trey Turner on the paternity list.
Yeah, I saw 9 months to the day that he signed a $330 million contract.
So there was a celebration.
Yeah.
Making a baby.
Uh-huh.
And, so they're expecting he'll be back by Friday if everything goes well. So congratulations, Big Daddy. But they're calling up utility man Weston Wilson. So that's going on with our Phils.
You know, when you're making $330 million, should you be granted paternity leave as a man?
Nope.
I'm just wondering, just pondering out loud.
Especially not in September. I'm sorry. I know your kid's born, but if this was May, it would be a different story.
You know, if it's Bill in accounting, okay, Bill, take the day off, take the week off. Trey Turner, I think you might have a higher obligation when you make that kind of coin.
Well,
might be an unpopular opinion, but just getting ready for the next segment.
Well, to your point about being hot, he had a 15-game hitting streak and hit 7 home runs in his last 7 games.
The only thing that can cool off a hot man from time to time is kids. Yeah.
How long is he taking off for?
It's literally, what is it? I think it's only a few.
Is it a 5-day stretch?
Yeah, it's only a few days.
Yeah, it's somewhere between like 3 and 5 days.
No,
Yeah.
sorry, Trey. We need you.
Yeah, like
the city of Philadelphia needs you.
You know, his wife. Take all the time you need.
And I know
you're the one giving birth.
I know Philly loves you because we stuck by you, gave
Yeah.
you a standing ovation, everything like that. But let's not forget that you had 3 months that you sucked.
Do we take back our well wishes for Trey Turner? 855.
Get back on the field. It's September. Let's get this done.
Exactly.
Well, and it's not as if, a lot of people, the husband steps in if the in-laws can't come in or they can't hire help.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the contract again? I think they can afford like a lot of nannies.
Yeah, exactly.
And fly in
exactly.
all the family they need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So usually paternity leave is intended for the fact that you can't afford it. It's very expensive.
The city of Philadelphia needs you more than your child does at
That's
this
correct.
point. All your child does is eat, sleep, and poop and wants mommy's boob.
Yes.
So
yeah, I mean,
you're really of no
right.
use to. Honestly, kids at that age, the father is of no use to them until they're at least 15.
Trey Turner needs to get his priorities in order.
Exactly.
Can you put us first, please?
Yes.
And Greg says this out of personal pain because as a toddler.
My son still doesn't need me yet.
Well, Best Work Industries for the Blinds e-commerce store, helping businesses succeed in all work environments. BestWorkSupplyCenter.com, offering traditional office products, cleaning supplies, furniture, technology, and much more. Free shipping, next day delivery. Shop now. Save at BestWorkSupplyCenter.com. Thank you, Best Work Industries for the Blind. The heat wave is on this week. 96, it'll feel like 101. Heat wave continues through Friday when rain brings that to an end. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Coming up next, 22 years for seditious conspiracy. Thoughts on that when we come back. But as you know, I've recently leased my 2023 Honda Ridgeline from the great folks at the Piazza Auto Group, Piazza Honda of Springfield specifically. And I can't believe it. I got it 4 or 5 days before Memorial Day. Here we are 2 days past Labor Day. And it's a great time still to be riding around and taking advantage of all the things they offer if you're a truck person. And if you're a truck person like me, and maybe you don't need the V8, you don't need 375 horsepower, you're not a laborer, but you still like a nice truck. And oh, by the way, it's very economical. Now is the time to visit Piazza Honda in Springfield. You can also check them out in Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading to take advantage of 0.9% APR financing, or you can get special finance rates still for the month of September on the Civic, the Accord, the CRV, the Pilot, and many more. Whether you need a smaller car, a family-sized car, a minivan, an SUV, or a truck, let Piazza Auto Group take care of you. Now with 17 brands, 35 locations, it is my go-to for all things automotive. To find your new or certified pre-owned vehicle today, visit them at piazzaautogroup.com.
If the market volatility of the past year has made you nervous about your retirement future, you're not alone.
So many people are waiting for the perfect time to retire. And those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
But that doesn't mean that it's hopeless. Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 20 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, now on Saturday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
How you heat your water matters. Did you know that water heating is the second highest user of energy in the home? Choose a high-efficiency Energy Star certified water heater from Bradford White. Get energy savings that's good for the environment and your wallet. Ask your plumbing professional about the built to be the best quality of a Bradford White water heater. Visit bradfordwhite.com today to learn more about their energy-efficient water heaters and to find a plumbing pro near you.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refunds Network of Independent Tax Attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to Step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Extraordinary awaits when you open up yourself to a world of possibilities with the 150-year-old Herradura Tequila. Made with unmatched care and aged to perfection, Herradura Tequila has the sophisticated taste to make any moment extraordinary. Herradura Tequila. Available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Please enjoy Herradura Tequila responsibly. Alcohol 40% by volume, 80 proof. Herradura Tequila, imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Football is back, and so is Cash the Ticket. Jim Costa with Mike Valeni every week this fall. That's picks, parlays, and that sweet, sweet value you, Cactus included, on all the NFL and college football matchups. Full breakdowns on the biggest games, but if you have a life, you don't have 45 minutes to spare, we've got you. We're the most on-demand podcast. We're catered to you and the teams you love. That's Cash the Ticket. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I am not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can actually change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Dawn Stensland here. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, and they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC Kinetics treatments. Get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing all the things you love again. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. And they're right here in Philadelphia. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
What's on the cut sheet coming up in just about 20 minutes as we continue Kayal and Company live here on a Wednesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free Odyssey app, live on YouTube as well. So, yesterday, we saw the stiffest punishment handed down from anybody regarding January 6th. This is from the New York Post. Former Proud Boys leader Henry Enrique Tarrio was sentenced Tuesday to 22 years behind bars for taking a lead role in the January 6th Capitol riot, the stiffest punishment doled out in the series of cases. Tarrio, who is also, like myself, 39 years old, the former national chairman of the far-right extremist group, was convicted in May by a Washington, D.C. jury of that dangerous, crazy word that we have heard when it comes to Trump, seditious conspiracy, for working with others to try to block the transfer of power after Donald Trump lost the election in 2020. The New York Post goes on to say Judge Timothy Kelly handed down the hefty prison term at an hours-long sentencing hearing on Tuesday, finding that a harsh penalty was needed to stop others from attempting similar crimes, saying, quote, "It can't happen again," and then he repeated, "It can't happen again." As Tarrio's fate was laid out by the judge, the former Proud Boy member momentarily hung his head in shame. Earlier in the hearing, Tarrio, wearing orange jail clothes, pleaded for leniency and promised he was done with politics, calling the events of January 6th, quote, "a national embarrassment." The seemingly remorseful Tarrio, whose voice broke up as he spoke, apologized to the officers who defended the Capitol, to the terrified lawmakers who ran from the building, and to his family, saying, quote, "I am not a political zealot. Inflicting harm or changing the results of the election was not my goal. Please show me mercy. I ask that you not take my 40s from me." So I'm going to give probably an unpredictable opinion. I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh my God, well, what about Mr. Kavanaugh, and compare every other crime in the history of crimes to this one. Yes, is it excessive on its surface? Yes, I do think it's way over the top. But that being said, here's what I think they are trying to tell all of us. Number one, they are telling you that this is about precedent. Most importantly, regardless of whether you agree or not, they are establishing, I'm looking at this from a legal standpoint, they are establishing a legal precedent here that this will be the standard, this is the bar, and moving forward, should anything like this happen again, and your specific facts of your case match up to what Mr. Tarrio did, we have now created the bench line. Here's the standard. You get a quarter century behind bars. I think that's the most important thing here. Number one is the precedent. And then secondly, what bothers me about this is, remember the old adage of, oh, you get a couple of bad apples and it spoils the bunch? It's somebody like this that then makes, and I really don't care if people dislike me for being a conservative or a Republican or I voted for Donald Trump. I don't lose an ounce of sleep over any of that. But that's where when you're around people and you say, oh, yeah, I'm a Republican. Oh, yeah, no, I voted for Donald Trump. Yeah, I like Trump. Oh, you're one of those January. Like, Enrique Tarrio does not represent me in any way, shape, or form. That's number two. And then also, I try to be very consistent, whether it's the left or the right, whether it's somebody that's a conservative or somebody that's a progressive. You can't selectively pick and choose. And I've said this many times on this show, so this part's not brand new. You can't selectively pick and choose when you want to be law and order. Like, you're either a advocate for law and order in society or you're not. You can't just say, well, yeah, I'd like to apply it when Antifa riots break out, but then when it's my guy, 30. No, like, you're either law and order or you're not. Again, you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like the fact that he got 33 years. Of course, it's over the top. I absolutely agree that it is. But my takeaway is this is what they are telling us. This is the precedent. Again, you don't have to agree with it. You can compare this case to any other case under the sun. But at the end of the day, what happened on January 6th, they are telling you, okay, you got 22 years, you get 17. Zachary Rell, you get this. The other guy gets that. And I think that's, and by the way, and one of the pictures that was circulating on social media of him with the tactical jumpsuit, he had a White Claw in the front of his vest. That should get you 5 years minimum. So I had to throw in a little joke. Like, the only thing worse could have been him with a Bud Light in his tactical vest. What's he doing with a lemon White Claw? So I don't know. Maybe he should get no jail for that because he's clearly not a threat. Or he should get 25 to life. I'm joking. But that was kind of my takeaway from it last night, is what the message they are sending and the precedent is. And then everything else that I just kind of rattled off. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this because I know this was like probably the biggest story on Twitter last night when this came down. And it's just like, I feel like, is this guy the worst dude in the world? No. But I also don't want to be labeled X, Y, or Z because of somebody like this. And the next thing you know, oh, Nick Kayal, yeah, he's one of those crazy. Nick, dude, I don't tolerate what Enrique Tarrio did or any of those guys did. I have nothing to do with that. So that's kind of my spiel on it. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on the sentencing last night. I know we've covered it locally, Dawn, from the Zachary Rell story, locally, and he got what? Was it 15 or 17 years?
Well, I said 15 because he has already served more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Because they've never let him out. So it will be, unless they would allow parole or unless he gets pardoned, which many GOP candidates have said they would look at all these individuals.
And I'm glad you brought up Rell. Who was the guy we were just talking about 2 weeks ago that was he was basically put in the broom closet with the light on for countless months, where he had all his civil liberties violated and human rights? Was that a January 6th guy?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but not from here.
That bothers me more than what Tarrio got. It bothers me when you are put in a broom closet with the light on, with a bottle of water on the floor, like you're in an Abu Ghraib prison cell, where the guy had his civil liberties, human rights, and his due process violated. Like, I'm more bothered by that than what this prison sentence is for Tarrio. So
I think if you look at all the Proud Boys members, and including Zachary Rell, who's from the Northeast,
right?
Marine, United States Marine, served our country, Temple grad, husband with 2 young children. In fact, the baby, his second daughter, was born since he's been in prison, so his wife was pregnant.
I'm just curious why you always have to clarify all of these things for this guy.
I think it's important to say
why though.
Well, because I think if somebody is a career criminal and they've committed...
But you can say that about any criminal. Any criminal, has a mother, has a father, might be a husband, you know what I mean? Like,
I think if somebody served our country honorably in the United States military and the Marines, I think that says something about that individual. The fact that that individual had never had any scuffle with the law in his life and now partakes in the January 6th situation. And I bring it up, Greg, because you may recall we had that summer, that hot summer of, 2020, with all of the BLM riots across Philadelphia. All the businesses were closed, were boarded up, businesses were burning, cops were injured. And there were ultimately, during that situation, there were injuries. During that situation, there were businesses that were shut down and burned. And yes, as I said, officers injured. There were about 1,000 people who were arrested. And you may recall that Mayor Jim Kenney and DA Krasner came out and they said, well, you know, for the people who never had any criminal record, they're ordinary citizens, and a lot of them women and grandmothers, and they were swept up in a movement. They were swept up.
I actually agree with you that on the no track record, if you have a clean slate history, I think to some extent that really does should matter.
Judges do that.
Of course.
The judges will.
Yes.
We hear that all the time. They'll sometimes get a first offenders program, for example. So, but you may recall that they were all given blanket forgiveness by the city of Philadelphia. People who even did I mean, Zachary Rell never struck anybody. They showed video that appeared to show him as he was spraying something from a distance, and they had said, you know, and even the Inquirer wrote, it appeared that he was spraying something toward police.
Well, Ontario wasn't even in D.C. on January 6th.
But even the judge, while sentencing Zachary Rell, said he'll probably never, or Zachary Rell, he'll never do what he did because they wanted 30 years. He said he probably would never do that and never has done that. That was the judge saying that.
Right.
That he gave him half of what prosecutors wanted, and the judge explained he really believed.
Well, this prosecutor...
He believed that Rell did not have the intention of planning. The judge was basically saying he doesn't really think he did seditious conspiracy. He didn't want this widespread thing.
This prosecutor, Connor Mulrow, for the Terrio case, he was going for a 33-year prison sentence.
Mm-hmm.
He only got 22, so...
But look at what happened with these guys. Zachary Rell broke down in court. Terrio apologized. Rell was sobbing after defending himself. He can't afford a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so this guy is sobbing. He's broken, and he's a broken man. And now has been in 2 years. To me, this is a travesty of justice. These sentences do not reflect what happened. Now, could they come and be contrite and say, look, this got out of hand. We were at the situation. We were demonstrating. We were wrong to do what we did. We shouldn't have hurt. Nobody should have been hurt or trampled, etc. But to say that they deserve, this huge piece of their life when they're fathers and husbands, and they've never committed, or this Rell has never committed a crime. No, I don't think that's justice to me. And this is now the DOJ. This is a huge victory for them. To your point, Nick, that they all over social media. Oh, he broke. He sobbed. He admitted. They want to break these people.
Of course they do.
So that they can say to the rest of society, you better shut up and sit down.
Well, yeah, they want to create that precedent that, hey, moving forward, and one of the judges, I think in this case, said if you're unhappy with the results in 2024, 2028, 2032, or any future election, think about it long and hard before we have this happen again in this country. And that's what they're doing. They're establishing a precedent, and obviously a precedent is meant to deter, and I would imagine it probably will deter many people. If you guys want to jump in, 855-839-1210, cut sheet in just about 10 minutes. We'll continue. One thing that the Biden administration is going to do, and you're going to see it this weekend, you'll see it on your TVs on Sunday when you're watching the Eagles. We'll give you the details when we come back. Cut sheet at 7:45. It's Kayal and Company.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale. the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. All Rescue and Niva supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. Whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or that radiant glow, Rescue has health essentials forever. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, vitamin gummies, and so much more. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE. That's 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with up to 70% off. Again, up to 70% off Rescue products site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com. Get this Labor Day deal now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue.
Don't take shots just to lose weight. NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast without any of the side effects. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, the natural way. Go to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
John was compensated for his time. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb.
Crash-Proof Retirement's consumer protection policies require oversight through video recordings on all consumer meetings, which are then kept on file, proving a full fiduciary responsibility to the highest level. In fact, Crash-Proof Retirement is the only firm in the country that exercises this level of transparency, which delivers peace of mind to the everyday consumer.
I'm Patty Parentozzi from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The thing that impressed me with the Crash-Proof Retirement System is that all of the meetings that we have are recorded. It's very comforting to know that because everything is videotaped, they have nothing to hide. They're doing this to protect you. They want you to know that what they say they mean.
Find out what your advisor is hiding from you. Invite them to join you for a recorded meeting at Crash Proof Retirement and see if they stand by the promises they made you on camera in our consumer-driven offices. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Wrap up the regular season at CBP when the Phils welcome Pittsburgh to Philadelphia on September 26th and 27th, both at 6:40, and September 28th at 6:05. Order tickets now at phillies.com. Be first in line to secure a 2024 Phillies season ticket package before the public on sale by placing a deposit now. Gain access to benefits such as price savings and postseason options. Reserve yours at phillies.com/season.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
$7:40, welcome back in. It's Kayal Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Daniel, Anthony. What's on the cut sheet? You're going to find out in just about 5 minutes. Tony Bruno at 8:20. Morning mystery movie clip for Reading Philly tickets at 9:20. And your chance once again to secure a keyword for a free trip to Walt Disney World. That's coming up at 9:50 this morning. But tomorrow is the NFL season opener. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. And on Sunday afternoon, the Philadelphia Eagles will be in New England to take on the Patriots. And I'm assuming a lot of sports fans and many people that enjoy the Eagles or the NFL will be consuming football in the next 4 days. And you're going to start to see an ad campaign. And it's not often that I have a positive word to say about the Biden administration, but I actually think what they're about to do is pretty smart. I would like to think whether it's Trump or DeSantis or any Republican, you would have a similar ad strategy or a counter ad strategy, because coming up tomorrow through Sunday, the Biden administration is going to be running ads throughout swing states during NFL kickoff weekend. And if you live in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada or Arizona, we're going to be entering the fall of political ads once again. I know a lot of people hate it, but you're going to get inundated with Biden economic ads for touting his accomplishments, which are very little. But according to Axios, the Biden campaign plans to place a new TV ad targeted to the battleground states during the NFL season opener on Thursday. A source working with the campaign told Axios the spot is part of a broader $25 million campaign that is going to focus on the president's economic record through last December. And why they're doing this, because, well, a Wall Street Journal poll on Monday said that a vast majority, in fact, 73% of American voters disapprove of the president's handling of the economy and inflation, to which I would say I would love to talk to the 27% that actually think Joe's done a good job with the economy and find out what they have in their bank account that I'm doing wrong, because I'm broke under Joe Biden. But the new Biden campaign ad titled "Got to Work" highlights his economic achievements and inflation. The ad will run during the NFL season opener Thursday across local broadcast networks in Michigan, the home of the Detroit Lions state, as well as other battleground states such as Georgia with the Atlanta Falcons, Arizona with the Cardinals, Pennsylvania with both the Philadelphia Eagles and Pittsburgh Steelers, Wisconsin with the Green Bay Packers, and Nevada with the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not sure what the ad will look like. I'm sure it'll be pretty terrible. I'm not going to believe a word of it. But I think strategically this is a really smart move.
Agreed.
I mean, this is where I think Republicans have got to, and think about where you watch the NFL these days. You stream it on a smart device, on a tablet, a phone. You've cut your cord. Maybe you watch the NFL on YouTube. And who are all the cord cutters? And who are all the technology people? Young millennials and Gen Zers, right? I think this is a really bold and bright move. And I can't believe I'm saying it from an administration that I think has the IQ of sandpaper. But I actually like this. I would like to think that Republicans will do something like this, whether that's in red states, whether that's directly to counter in blue states, or in this story specifically with swing states. Because we know it's going to come down to some swing states, some independents, and a few people somewhat straddled on the fence, because the polling is very close. Trump and Biden are tied in a lot of polls right now. I'm telling you, the Eagles are, so they're on the road, so you'll have it on Channel 3.
Yeah, 4:30.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're watching that game, I'm willing to bet at least once an hour, as soon as the Eagles-Patriots go to a commercial, you're going to get hit with this ad. And you'll see it tomorrow night maybe we'll have it on the cut sheet on Friday.
Is it going to be locally, or are they going to
It's in local markets of all the swing states.
Wow.
And Pennsylvania is one of them.
Wow.
So get ready, Eagles fans. Get ready, Republicans, because Sunday from 4:30 to 7:30, I'm willing to bet you see that ad at least 2 or 3 times.
Is it too early to do this, do you think? For them?
I don't know. I don't think it's ever too early for anything.
Yeah.
You know, we keep saying it's early. It's early.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's not going to be early anymore.
You're right. You're right.
Like, we're coming up on just about a year, so I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, how many takes do you think it took for them to do an ad with Joe? All right, take 42.
Do you think he
is on? Hello.
Yeah, he's sitting there bumbling around.
Do you think he wandered off stage like he did yesterday at the at that ceremony?
I saw that in the middle of.
Like he didn't even wait
exit during a prayer.
No, apparently at the end they do the benediction or something, right? And
yeah.
and he didn't even wait for it. He just kind of left, and everybody kind of looked around like.
What are the odds that this Biden NFL commercial is actually completely created by artificial intelligence? And it's not Joe at all. It's just his voice dubbed in from when he was like 65 years old and still competent.
Yeah.
So get ready for it, folks. It's coming up. You'll probably see it debut tomorrow night if you watch the NFL season opener on NBC. All right, 7:46. It's a Wednesday morning. Let's get to a Greg Stocker. What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Wednesday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. I want to take a slight detour, and Daniel, I hope you have this video. You remember yesterday we played the clip of that Delta Airlines that had to turn around because of the
flatulence?
Well, it was a lot more than that. Let me play the cockpit recording from yesterday.
Let's go to the cockpit.
A biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
It was a Delta Airlines flight from Atlanta to Barcelona. Well, now there's video of the so go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT, youtube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see the video. I don't know why you would. Hopefully you've had your breakfast already at 7:47 in the morning.
Right.
But there's video of going down the aisle. If we can roll that.
We have the crime scene.
Roll that, Daniel. The video of I saw this on Twitter.
Oh boy.
Let me see here. There
we go.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. There's blankets everywhere, pillows.
That is nasty.
Isn't it?
Wait,
gross.
It looks like diapers on the floor.
Oh man. It literally it went all the way down the
goodness. Yeah.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of bad, disturbing things you see at an airport or on a flight. I mean, you've got to give there should be free flights for everybody. If you experience that, Atlanta to Barcelona, it's on us. Yeah, we got you this time. Where's Mayor Pete right now? What's he doing?
Oh God, somebody.
That is disgusting. Thankfully, you don't see a whole heck of a lot of human stuff.
Yeah,
but it's pretty disgusting.
I just got a text from somebody who will remain nameless, who says for the Eagles game on Sunday, that nobody watches it on TV. Everybody listens to it on the radio.
Oh, that's right. Sports Radio 94 WIP.
94 WIP. That's correct.
Maryland
Hopefully they bought some. The political campaigns will buy some radio ads too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
25-20, 15-10, touchdown.
I mean, you can't get a better. You can't get a better play-by-play than that duo right there.
That's correct.
And that's not me shilling. I mean, normally,
no, not you. No,
normally I'm shilling.
Right.
By the way, if you want to go, most people don't want to see that video that I just put up there. But
can you guys do the show for radio only, please?
If you want to see it, go to youtube.com/1210WPHT. Yeah, it's very disturbing. Okay, season 27 of The View started yesterday. Cut 7 here, Daniel, and this is how.
It's the season debut.
The season premiere of season 27 started yesterday, and here's how it started. Cut 7.
As you can see, Whoopi is not here. She has COVID. Yes, it's back. It's back. It's back. But she's on the mend. She's on the tail end, and she'll probably be back this week. But sorry she's not here. For those of you who are looking forward to seeing her.
Oh, yes, it's back. It's back. Joy almost sounds like she's taking joy in the fact that COVID is back.
Yeah.
It's like me every summer in June when Hoagie Fest returns at Wawa. It's back.
It's back. It's back.
The left's I legitimately think they love all of it.
Yeah.
They love the fact that COVID's back. They get to take tests, swab their noses, put their masks on, post on Facebook that they tested positive. These people are deranged.
Eartho on the YouTube chat says The View is worse than the airline clip.
What would you rather watch? Diarrhea on a Delta
Oh no!
flight or
Come
The
on,
View?
we don't have to. We don't have to describe it.
27 years for a show that I
Well, some people must watch it.
It's
you know what I mean?
remarkable.
Like it wouldn't be on for this long if people don't watch it.
I mean, that show has been on the air since 1996.
Yeah.
And I have no idea the origins of the show, but obviously Barbara Walters was one of the founding members of that show,
She
right?
was, yeah.
Did that show basically come to fruition after Barbara Walters and Barbara Walters is a legendary figure, but did that happen after her coverage of O.J. Simpson? Is that how that whole thing spawned? Because, I was 12 years old at the time. But I remember Barbara Walters interviewing all of the Dream Team, and she was really involved in that case. And I'm thinking when this show launched,
No,
I wonder if that was like a launching pad for her.
No, I think it was just a show for women, I guess. I hate to be sexist, but I mean that's how they.
Yeah, there's no dude that watches that show, right? I can't imagine.
If you're the dude who watches 855-829-1210, we want to hear from you.
Like, maybe somebody in the Biden administration watches. Pete Buttigieg probably watches it. Probably a big fan.
Season 5 of KJP versus the Deuce started yesterday as well.
Season 5?
That's what we're up to, right? Season 5?
Corinne Jean-Pierre has not made it. She will not make it 5 seasons in any walk of life.
So they went at it yesterday about why the White House treats President Joe Biden like a baby. Cut 4.
President Biden is the oldest president in U.S. history. Why does White House staff treat him like a baby?
No one treats the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, like a baby.
So there's this book that says
that's ridiculous.
When staff
it's a
walked
ridiculous
back
claim.
What sounded like a call for regime change in Russia, the president, quote, rather than owning his failure, he fumed to friends about how he was treated like a toddler. Was John Kennedy ever babied like that?
So look, I'll say this. There's going to be always a range of books that are about every administration, as you know. That's going to have a variety of claims. That is not unusual. That happens all the time. And we're not going to litigate those here. That's something that we're not going to speak to. There is one thing that I do want to, because I think I was asked this question last week by one of your colleagues about this particular excerpt that they were referring to. And so I'll say this, we did see the excerpt, the context of the excerpt, and it seemed to be making the opposite overall point about how the value of his experience and wisdom resulted in rallying the free world against authoritarianism, which is important. We have seen this, you all have seen this, and passage of the most historic agenda in recent history in his handling of foreign policy, like rallying the world around Ukraine, as you just heard from our national security advisor, who laid out in really good questions that your colleagues asked about how the president is moving forward, about Ukraine, about kind of leading into these conversations that he's going to be having at the G20.
You know what, Corinne? I figured it out what Corinne Jean-Pierre's next job should be.
What's that?
I think just the way she talks there, it's like she's talking a lot like Kamala Harris, like she's talking to children. Corinne Jean-Pierre would make like a great tour guide at Disney World. Imagine her walking around with like 30, 12-year-olds. Now we're going to go to Epcot Center. And here's what I would tell you about this. By the way, anytime somebody starts a sentence with, here's what I would tell you, they're telling you absolutely nothing. So just tune them out. and by the way, Ducey with the baby stuff, I mean, God bless Peter Ducey. What a legend. He doesn't give a flying you-know-what.
Well,
he just lets it rip.
Every press secretary needs a foil.
Yes.
And the Deuce is that for KJP. He was also that for Psaki.
And he's not wrong. I mean, let's face it. Joe works 4 hours a day. He loves ice cream. He can't string together a sentence. And he is like a baby in a lot of ways.
Well, since you said it during the clip, excerpt. What? How do you? Because you pronounce it excerpt. It's not excerpt.
It's EXCERPT. Excerpt.
Excerpt.
Yeah. But it's hard to. I mean, you got to really focus on that to say it properly. Excerpt.
Okay. Dawn, is that the correct pronunciation?
Don't worry. Twitter will let us know if we're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. We're always being checked.
The Deuce also asked about Joe Biden going to East Palestine, Ohio, because he said yesterday we played that clip that, he'll get there.
Just one more. The president said over the long weekend that he hasn't had the occasion to go to East Palestine. I just haven't been able to break. The derailment was on February 3rd. President Biden has not had a break since February 3rd.
No. The president will go to East Palestine. He promised that he would, and he will. You saw him.
So he was not on a break when he was in Lake Tahoe?
I will say this again. The president is going to go to East Palestine, as he has said that he is committed to do. You saw him just this Saturday visit a rural area, right, that was devastated. Some parts were devastated by Hurricane Idalia, and he was there with the First Lady. They were able to hear directly from the American people, and he was able to talk about what is it that they need. What else do they need from the federal government? So the president is going to go to East Palestine. I don't have a time or date to announce at this time, but he will go.
He's going to go there eventually.
Look, Joe's going to be here until 2028. It's only been 6 months, Peter. Give it some time. He'll get there. He's been on vacation.
Wow.
40% of his time on vacation. Joe Biden has spent more time in Ukraine than he has spent in Ohio. He spent more time in Ukraine than he has spent in Hawaii.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you think if Ohio was a swing state, because it's deeply, I mean, it used to be a swing state, they said, but now it's definitely leans red. If it was a swing state like Pennsylvania or Michigan or one of these places, would he be there?
Perhaps. But, we've talked about how Republicans have given up on Pennsylvania. Should Democrats give up on Ohio? I get it. It's red. It's not as red as Florida. I think if you're ranking red states right now, there's nothing more red than Florida. But we gave you the figures when the derailment happened in February. East Palestine, Ohio voted 73% of its population voted Trump. He knows he knows he's not welcome there. He's not liked there.
Yeah.
So he don't care.
She also said about his COVID, his wife has COVID. He's been testing 97 times, I think. I don't know what the purpose is, but he's been testing 3 times a day. But she said he's taking all the precautions, including wearing masks indoors. This is cut 5.
President Biden tested negative last night for COVID-19 and tested negative again today. He's not experiencing any symptoms.
Wow. Okay.
As far as the steps he is taking, since the president was with the First Lady yesterday, he will be masking while indoors and around people in alignment with CDC guidance. And as has been the practice in the past, the president will remove his mask when sufficiently distanced from others indoors and while outside as well.
You think she would have that memorized after 3.5 years by now? She still had to struggle to get through that. He's going to be masking indoors. And then I just saw there was a video, and maybe you're going to get to it later. There was a video, he was surrounded by 2 guys with a mask, and then he's taking his mask off.
Well, yeah, he had a mask on, and then I guess during the ceremony, during something, maybe the prayer or something, he took the mask off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like that.
It's all confusing.
It's like the school guidelines that we just gave you from in Montgomery County, Maryland. Children will wear masks, but they are allowed to remove them to eat and drink. Oh, geez, thanks. I thought maybe I had to stick my peanut butter and jelly up under my mask to get a bite. People are insane.
And this says the CBS News reporting a new COVID subvariant has been identified in Delaware.
Oh, man.
So maybe they have the new subvariant.
Do we get the new booster for that, Dawn?
Maybe
coming soon.
Maybe Jill will. Oh, thank you. It's almost like you guys know where I'm going next. It's maybe Jill's the super spreader.
Oh.
She's patient 0 for that, since she's recuperating from her mild symptoms in their Rehoboth Beach, Delaware home. Just saying.
Okay,
yes.
I thought you had tape.
No, Karine Jean-Pierre says that they will be encouraging Americans to get their updated COVID-19 vaccine, cut 6.
As we head into the fall, we have more tools and systems available today to help communities this fall and winter season, including safe, updated vaccines that will be available mid-September, widely available at-home COVID test, widely available effective treatments, which can reduce the risk of severe illness, hospitalizations, and death. We will be encouraging, as I have said before, Americans to get their updated COVID-19 vaccine in addition to their annual flu shot and also RSV vaccines, as you all know.
Yeah, let's get. What other shots can we get while we're out? Can I buy 5, get the 6th one free? Here we go. Here's a
late night infomercials. Act now. You get 2 vaccines and get
the 3rd for no shipping and handling.
A Mark McGuire rookie card.
Jeez. There's 2 things I want to say here. Number 1, you ever notice it's always these people that keep getting the vaccine, that keep testing positive for it? Like Rochelle Walensky, Jill Biden. Yeah, they've had more vaccines and more boosters, and yet they're probably more protected and live in better situations than 99% of us, and they test positive every 3 months. It's remarkable. And then I'm going to throw out a conspiracy theory. Total theory.
There we go.
Think about this coordination here. You get Jill, then it's Whoopi. Next thing you know, Joe's masking up. Then it's a school. Get your recommended updated guidance booster vaccine this fall. I'm wondering if maybe they don't test positive, and it's just merely, hey, let's let them know that we tested positive so that we can reignite the fear, which means we can sell more vaccines, which means Big Pharma creates more profits. I'm just wondering if they're that diabolical to go to the point of they really don't have COVID. They just want to sell you on the notion that it's still around. I'm not going to lie, that ran through my head last night after 2 vodkas.
No, I think they did test positive, but my question is, who's testing for COVID?
Yeah.
Unless you, I guess, have to, if you're a medical professional or you're a surgeon going in for surgery, who's really testing, and is the testing even that reliable? Depending on the test, it's not. Are the ones in my cabinet that we gave out here at Odyssey World headquarters, are those even still, are they like expired?
Expires October 3rd, 2021.
And then you have to like do the swab, and then you put it in the thing, and then I spilled it the one time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the testing is, I don't know.
You got to have a PhD to understand the instructions. Undo this and swab for 5 seconds and dip it in the solution.
To me, the bigger story is they're all fine. Jill Biden, Joe Biden, anybody who's getting this, thank God.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's good news that we've gotten way past this. We've survived the pandemic. We should worry more about things like RSV or strep or flu coming into the fall. And so it's great news that most people with COVID now, even if they're in their 80s or whatever, unless they have cancer or comorbidities, they're actually okay. Isn't that great?
Yeah, and you're talking about the testing as well. Do these people, when they feel less than I feel like I'm 90% today. I wonder if I have COVID. Like, is that the thought process of these individuals? The moment I can't tell you the last time, honest to God, the last time in my life I've ever felt 100%.
You know what's funny is that I don't. Well, maybe we should stop drinking then.
Well, it's golf and stress. I'm getting old.
I know.
My joints are aching.
When you rode all the way to Atlantic City for the great nonprofit of Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation, I think that day and then the next day especially, you felt 100%.
I damn sure didn't
That
feel
was
100%
awesome.
when I got done. I felt about 4%.
You know what's funny is we haven't really gotten any guidelines for your guidance, I should say, for, as we're starting the fall and stuff, what happens if one of us tests positive for COVID. Like last year,
don't give them any ideas.
I know.
Yeah, I know. But last year there was a whole thing, and you have to do this, and that.
Wait, do you mean us here just in our building? Or our
I mean,
company?
I mean, I don't know what other.
The CDC has. Oh yeah, Philadelphia. Cheryl Buttigieg, Buttigieg. Medical. Excuse me. Our medical czar in Philadelphia. They and the CDC. They have guidelines, and the guidelines are if you have a fever and/or you test positive, then you want to just stay home, stay away from folks for so many days, and then you can come back.
Yeah.
So
don't post about it. Nobody cares.
Well, you can.
No, it's these people that tweet it. I tested positive for COVID, like it's a badge of honor. I'm telling you, man.
I think
COVID broke a lot of people's brains.
Well, there's that long COVID, which is a thing. They're doing studies on it for some people. But this summer, I think mono. There was this huge.
Yeah.
I think I had mono. My David definitely had it. The whole football team got it. So you get what your kids have, and they're all super spreaders.
Don't you get mono from kissing?
Yeah, I was going to say, was the whole football team making out with the same girl?
No, it's stop.
Or same guy?
Stop. No, they're all drinking from the same, because they all forget their water things. Then they go, hey, dude, can I have a sip? And then they throw it on the ground and God knows what else. And that's why it makes their immune system stronger moving forward.
That's correct.
And they come home, bring all that dirt, grime, virus, bacteria, give it to everybody else in the family. And
you
then,
ever go to a high school football locker room? It's one of the dirtiest places you'll ever be.
Yeah.
It's right up there with a casino and an airport.
They ask the parents, will a couple of parents volunteer to clean up the locker room in between while they're playing? It's like, I'd bring my Lysol.
Yeah. I'd bring my girdle home like once a week. My mom would be like,
your
Bleach.
girdle?
Yeah.
For football.
Yeah, you put your thigh pads and your tail pad in there, pal.
Yeah. So stinky.
It's a little weird.
Dawn knows about the girdle.
I do. I
Well,
know
I didn't
all
play
about
football,
that
so I
stank.
have no idea. But like, oh god, they call it a girdle.
Yeah.
Isn't that what like old women wear?
Yes, basically what it is, man. Keeps your bits and pieces intact.
Keeps everything in place. And then, did you wear any back support?
No, did not.
I bought David back support.
Does David wear a cup?
No.
I never wore
He
a cup.
refuses.
Yeah. Never felt good on me.
I know.
It was always like, I remember my dad used to lose his mind when I was like playing Pee Wee football. I used to wear a cup then, and I'd be running in the middle of the play, and I'd be like grabbing my crotch, and my dad would be yelling at me, "Would you leave the damn cup alone?"
But it's cute when the kids are little. It's pretty funny. Everybody chuckles.
Exactly.
Boy, Dawn calling me out on Twitter.
I did.
Dawn called who out?
I did.
Good.
Whenever I get quiet, that's why I can't look at Twitter, because then I get all distracted and I go down, because I'm like, oh, well, fine.
You guys want to?
No, I just
hash it out. I'll just sit here.
You think I have mommy issues? Yeah, I don't have mommy issues.
Maybe.
My love.
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
I don't.
Don Lemon checking in. What do you think Don's up to these days?
He's living his best life. He made a ton of money.
Yeah.
He's with his husband or fiance, and they're, I forget his name, but his fiance's living. What did he say? His best life.
Yeah.
He's having a great life, and he'll probably land a job somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you want to go and see Dawn calling me out, just go to YouTube or go to Twitter.
Can we stop getting our news from Twitter?
Can you not respond and do this stuff while we're trying to do a morning program here?
I will. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's why.
Or just call me out on the air. I mean, why save it for Twitter that's not paying you? Why do it? Why not do it for the outlet that's paying you? Call me out right now.
Not everything needs to be on Twitter.
Thank you.
Because if you look.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
This is great. Bruno's
if you
not
look
even
at the
here
way
yet.
I'm reporting things, right?
Yeah.
And even
I clearly struck a nerve when I said that resetting here at 8:08. I clearly struck a nerve when I said that it's odd that every time you bring up Zachary Rell, you bring up the fact that he's a Marine, he's a father, he's this, he's that, he's a husband, he's that, and you don't do that for anybody else but this gentleman, and I don't know why.
Usually with for example, the missing convicted killer, I brought up the fact that, for example, he's wanted for murder in Brazil. I brought up the fact that he fled Brazil, according to prosecutors there. He fled that country and came to this country to flee the Brazilian jail, and then
it just seems
is
that
a
when
convicted killer here.
it's somebody you agree with or somebody that you think is being wrongly, then all of a sudden the story comes out about how they were a great citizen and this, that, and the other. That's all I'm saying.
Even the judge in the case cited that it was significant, his service to the country, that he's a husband and father, that he had no criminal history of any violence. Even the judge and even the Philadelphia Inquirer listed the Zachary Rell, United States Marine, Temple grad. It is all relevant.
Okay. Why didn't he make that defense himself then? Just curious.
I would have been a better defense attorney for Zachary Rell than he was on the stand for. You never, ever should take the stand for yourself.
Poll question in the YouTube chat. Should Dawn and Greg do a podcast together?
No.
Yes or no? I'm just
no. It's fine. Everybody's especially in the YouTube chat. Everybody's on Dawn's side. I don't care. I'm not
you like to be the villain.
I like to be the villain. I like to be the foil. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's boring. Everybody yes, I agree. No, I agree. No, I agree. Yes, I agree. Oh, you're so right.
No, I just think, and I know it's somebody will say it's oranges and apples to look at 2020 and then look at January 6th. But I actually think if I had a psychology degree, I actually believe that if you looked at those two movements of the BLM, all the protests, and people who were caught up in a type of a protest that then unfortunately turned violent, I think you could draw similarities between those. And what's not similar is what the result was.
I mean, that we 100% agree with.
Yeah.
Those, I mean, everybody looted, rioted, did whatever they did to Philadelphia and other cities. Should have been in the broom closet with that January 6th guy. You know what I mean? I have no. But I mean, if we're gonna be hey, law and order here, then we can't pick and choose what we law and order.
No, I believe in law and order. I'm simply
you
saying
don't, though.
I do.
You don't.
Somebody who participates in a protest that turns violent, and there is zero evidence that individual hurt somebody. There's zero evidence that person even broke a window or cracked a window, and that person is going to spend 17 years of their life be in a federal prison, which means no parole. Okay, there's no good time or gain time. You're telling me that's justice? That's not justice.
I'll tell you what, though. My big takeaway from all of this, when it comes to politicians, regardless of party. First of all, I'm not even giving you $1 of mine. And number two, I am not going to jail for any politician.
That's what I mean. Like what are we doing? It's just okay.
I mean, trust me. Like, I got it. Like, I understand the outrage. I mean, 33 years, 22 years, 17 years. It's absolutely excessive. What's the YouTube chat saying? Are we getting ripped?
Of course.
Good. I don't look at the YouTube chat too often. I try to avoid that.
Wendy says you are talking about a man's life. Okay.
Shelley McDonald.
Okay.
Agreed, Kale. Whatever she agrees with, I agree with her on.
Yeah, I as far as January 6th, nobody's condoning what ultimately happened there, but I can take you to all the riots, sports riots. But how many cops get injured, how much damage. And so I'm not nobody here is condoning certainly violence. Violence is never the answer. And if they had just protested peacefully, it would have been much better. But quite frankly, they never stopped anything from happening, okay? They never stopped any certification. They never plotted anything with any firearm. There was nothing that ultimately happened to stop that. And so the sentences to me are way out there. I'm just saying.
We got a couple of
An exile in Jersey on Twitter says, I'll listen to a Dawn and Greg podcast as long as there's no shilling for YouTube.
I'm telling you, it'd be great. I would produce the podcast for you guys.
Greg, I think his name is Greg Manchway. He's slowly becoming my favorite Twitter user because he calls me out all the time.
Can I say one more thing? And now you got me all fired up. By the way, just the one in June of 2020, just that one riot where they shut down 676, and ultimately our city paid out and apologized to some of the protesters and paid them out $9 million of our tax dollars. By the way,
that's outrageous.
Just that one day, 20 Philadelphia police officers injured. 20. I mean, hospitalized. Okay, and there were burnings, and that doesn't even account for the businesses. And remember, that was when we got to take the statues down, and the city's got to apologize and bend and this and that. So I'm just sick and tired of this unjust situation where one group, they get all the forgiveness in the world, and in fact we pay them even though what they did was wrong and destructive, and then this other group, they're demonized and going to spend nearly 20 years of their lives behind bars when they've never done anything ever remotely violent. And in fact, many of them served our nation honorably as military members. Boom.
Boom.
I had to get that off my chest.
Take
Sorry.
that. Yes. Go ahead, Dawn.
Okay.
Sorry, I got triggered.
No, I like triggered. It's good radio. Eric the Red said, these 3 tweets are great. Eric the Red says, perhaps the Delta passenger was prepping for a colonoscopy. Not sure why he'd schedule a flight to get there, but who am I to judge? Susie Cool's ripping me. She says, as a resident of Ohio and Florida, I respectfully must disagree about Florida being more red. Ohio is solid red with very few liberal counties, mostly Columbus and Cleveland inner cities. Florida has several large swaths of liberal counties, but Florida is also twice as big. Pretty good solid point. I'll defer to Susie on that. She lives in both states.
And by the way, she's back. Yay, Susie.
Where? In Ohio or Florida?
In X. So finally, they figured it all out. Remember
so she got her account back before Bruno did.
Yes. Thank God.
Oh,
but it was weird.
We're going to have to tell Bruno about that.
She was identity thefted or social media thefted, whatever you call that,
yeah.
hacked.
Yeah.
And then
MBF on the YouTube chat says, when is Dawn going to call Greg for what he is, a closet liberal who's strategically coming out? So there you go.
You coming
you
out?
in the closet?
I'm in the closet.
Were you in the closet for 3 months with no light?
Well, let me ask you a question. Is being a liberal hating all politicians and thinking they're all corrupt? I'm just curious.
No, that's more probably independent or libertarian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Politicians are all corrupt.
Yeah.
There you go.
What about Greg Stocker reading his own hate tweets?
I do it all the time.
I love that.
I don't mind.
Wow.
I don't mind. All right. Let's go to Bill Maher. Bill Maher was on.
Yes, this is still the cut sheet, by the way.
Yeah, it was. We got sidetracked there for 15 minutes. We were like, what the hell are you guys doing? We got Tony Bruno coming up in 4 minutes.
I know.
Bill Maher did his Club Random podcast with Jim Gaffigan, and he criticized. There's still a writer strike going on in Hollywood, right?
Yeah,
nobody seems to notice or care.
No,
which is not good for them.
Which is not good for them at all. so they were talking about the late night shows and how the late night shows are not there, and does anybody really notice? So that's where we pick up here with cut one.
It's interesting. I mean, I can see why the personalities of Jimmy or Colbert do work, though, because people develop a relationship. They want to hear Colbert's take about the day. They want to see
It's
Jimmy.
not a take. Those guys don't have takes. I have takes. I have a take on things. What they do is say exactly what a liberal audience wants them to say about that. That's not a take. I'm not saying it's not sincere. I guess it is on their part. But even if it wasn't, that's what they would do. There's never a moment where you don't know exactly, oh, this is the correct point of view on that. The strike is a perfect example. Those guys would never go back. This strike could go on till the 24th century. They would stay out. I feel for my writers. I love my writers. I'm one of my writers. But there's a big other side to it, and a lot of people are being hurt besides them. A lot of people who don't make as much money as them in this bipartisan world we have, where you're just in one camp or the other. There's no in between. You're either for the strike, like they're Che Guevara out there, like this is Cesar Chavez lettuce picking strike, or you're with Trump. Like there's no different. There's only two camps, and it's much more complicated than that.
He makes two things here. He makes a really good point about the whole concept of having a take. And I never would think that, Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or any of those people will be known for having a take. I agree with Bill there. All they do is pretty much, spew out the talking points that liberal audiences want to hear. To me, having a take is having an opinion that you're not afraid of, even if it runs counter to what you're, quote, supposed to say or believe. Like when I did my thought on Tario getting 22 years. That's not the typical talking points that you're going to hear, but I just gave you my honest opinion on it. But the last thing with that clip there is, does Bill Maher, is his HBO show not running this fall?
It's not.
So he's a part of the writer strike and the whole thing as well?
Yeah, and he doesn't like it because he wants to be on the air.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is affecting him as
Oh, so
well.
he's relegated just to the podcast now.
Yep.
Oh, poor guy. I hope he survives. Jeez.
One more. He also says about the writer's strike, they kind of believe that you're owed a living as a writer, and you're not, which is a very interesting point. Cut two.
What I find objectionable about the philosophy of the strike, it seems to be they have really morphed a long way from 2007 strike, where they kind of believe that you're owed a living as a writer, and you're not. This is show business. This is a make or miss league, and not everybody.
You don't think that that streamers should reveal numbers so that they can?
Oh, maybe.
Things?
Sure. Oh, I'm not saying they don't have points.
You don't
maybe
think
that's
that
what,
these micro rooms are? I mean, the TV shows that we used to watch were 22 episodes, 26 episodes. And
okay, but this is
no. I know things change, but what I'm saying is that it's not just that. It's also these shows. The life of a show is now 2 years. So I'm not saying that hey, tough noogies, that's what happens. I'm saying that if they're making all their money. If streamers are making all their money, or someone's making all their money in the first year, then if the writers are constructed, their deals are constructed on working for a couple years, and that's removed, then they should probably recalibrate how they get compensated.
So the writers are trying to argue that they should be guaranteed income permanently? Is that the takeaway from that?
It sounds to me like they wanna make sure, because the streaming stuff lives on forever.
Okay.
They want to be compensated for that as well.
So
I mean,
they're basically looking for royalties.
They're having the same problems with music too.
Right.
So they haven't. The music industry and the entertainment industry has not figured out the whole streaming thing.
Will my big takes for the rest of my life lead to compensation for me here at 1210?
No, because here Odyssey World headquarters, we own those big takes.
Oh.
So thank you for participating.
I thought maybe I get like pennies to the dollar like when I'm 70 and they're
You
still
don't.
being listened
You don't.
to.
You don't.
Damn.
But to the point of some of the actors, it is weird how, let's say, they take their image or their voice, and then they can use that, create an AI image of the person. It's almost like taking your fingerprints,
Right.
And then they can use that, and they never pay you for it. To me, that's very different.
Yeah.
And that's I think they have a good point on that.
Yeah, and I'm always going to side on the side of talent or the people against management. I mean, I think most people would, stalker. But this notion that you're guaranteed, like I'm sorry, as somebody like he said, it's show business, it's entertainment. You're paid to perform and produce, and if you don't, well, I mean, I'm not guaranteed anything in this business. If my show stinks, I'm out. I mean, it's really that simple. So this whole I should be given.
Agreed.
I don't agree with that at all.
Agreed. Yeah, it's an interesting, I heard, I think it was James Vanderbeek or one of those, he was Dawson, right?
Yeah. He was also Mox in Varsity Blues.
Say something about how this is going to be a precedent for other companies and other things, and if the writers don't get their way, then this is, AI and all this stuff is going to lead to all this nonsense for every other company. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, does it really affect us? And the longer it goes, to Dawn's point, with nobody noticing, like nobody cares that the late night shows aren't on.
No.
Nobody cares, literally.
Well, you have so many options nowadays.
Yeah.
From politics and sports to all the other entertainment and streaming. I mean,
there's a new Rolling Stones album coming out. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying that in the year 2023. There's a new Rolling Stones album coming out, and they're going to debut it with Jimmy Fallon on Twitter.
Oh, jeez. I've had it with Jimmy Fallon. I'm done with that guy.
But
overexposed too much.
But the point is that they don't need his late night show. He can just go on Twitter and do it.
I know.
And it doesn't affect the Rolling Stones at all.
And Fallon's getting paid, right? Like he's still making like his $23 million a year with the writer's strike, correct?
Well, yeah, it's a contract.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
if I'm him, I'm like, let this go on for as long as you want. I won't work. It's like Tucker Carlson. I would like $25 million not to go on X.
Yeah.
You wouldn't hear from me again until 2025. You think I can't get off Twitter? Trust me, Greg. I do have a price. $25 million. You'll never hear from me again.
Is that all it takes? $25 million?
That is all it will take.
Can we stop getting our news from Twitter?
All right, that'll do it for round one of the cut sheet. Coming up next, we go down live to Southwest Florida. The man, the myth, the legend, the great Tony Bruno joins us in just about 5 minutes' time here on Kayal and Company.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. As the store's owner, I want our clients treated with respect. I want our employees to have extensive product knowledge and be genuinely engaged with our clients. Our pricing is competitive, but our client attention is second to none. When considering a new car, consider Cherry Hill Volvo. Contact me directly. Relationships really do matter to us.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville with Paul Wyants and Brendan Donegan, Saturday, November 18th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriati at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriati, NPN number 2083768.
Oh, how great it would feel to have your 20-year-old knees, shoulders, hips, and back.
You know, you don't think about your pains when you're in your 20s or 30s, but you wish you could get that body back when you're in your 60s. I think QC did that for me.
For Patrick, it started with a simple phone call to QC Kinetics.
One day I was driving and I just heard the radio and I pulled over and took the number and I called them when I got home.
Maybe that's you, and you're listening right now. Why wait? QC Kinetics Regenerative Treatments uses your body's own natural biologics to heal and restore damaged tissue without invasive surgery or harmful drugs. And as for the results,
my knees are as good as they were when I was in my 20s. I'm really happy with what happened.
For Patrick, it's like QC Kinetics turned back the clock. Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe.
Eesh.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Hey Philly, are you looking for a great deal on a new Nissan? Well, look no further than the Bush Auto Group. They've got 2 Nissan dealerships conveniently located in Limerick and Exton, PA. And this month only, you can score rates as low as 0% on select vehicles. And every vehicle purchase comes with over $3,000 in bonus value to help drive down the cost of vehicle ownership. Trust me when I say this, if you want to ride in style and save some serious cash, the Bush Auto Group's where it's at. Visit in-store or online today at bushautogroup.com, and remember, Philly rides with us.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Get ready for the NFL season with an incredible offer from FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers, that's right, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. This is the greatest giveaway or promo that we're going to do all year for FanDuel. So sign up right now. FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg. Right now to kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 and is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds, terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required. To watch YouTube TV, redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Don Stensland this morning at 10. Kayal Company now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Kayal Company, baby, 8:30 on a Wednesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Coming up at 9:20, Morning Mystery Movie Clip, your chance to win Reading Phillies tickets. And at 9:50, we will give you the keyword which then you will take to 1210WPHT.com for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Speaking of Florida and Disney World, well, we're not going to go to Orlando, but we are going to go down to Southwest Florida and talk to the man, the myth, the legend, a man who's almost back up to 2,000 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
At Tony Bruno Nation. The great Tony Bruno is joining us from the great state of Florida. What up, buddy?
Good morning, and I am now at 2049, and so I want to thank everybody. I heard you talking about one of your followers that had her account reinstated. Mine wasn't reinstated. I had her build back better, one follower at a time. Even if it takes going on and begging people to follow me, I'll do whatever it takes to get back to the 80,000 followers that I was deprived of, thanks to a purge from Elon Musk's regime, not the previous Jack regime.
Yep.
This happened after Elon took over. So where's the free speech, Elon?
Exactly. This was not a
It's an
Jack
outrage.
Dorsey ordeal. This was an Elon Musk charade.
Exactly. And by the way, while you were sleeping, I don't know if you guys caught this, the big news, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has just delivered another $1 billion in person to Zelensky over there in Kiev.
Well, it's been a couple of days. Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
know.
burned through it, Tony. You got to reload, right?
You know, no, forget Maui, forget East Palestine, forget Florida, forget any natural disasters or unfortunately fires in this country. Let's keep sending money to Ukraine.
Yes, exactly right. Speaking of natural disasters, Danielle Outlaw, she's ousted as effective yesterday. Officially, the last day will be September 22nd. I know you have many thoughts on Kenny Krasner and Outlaw. Your reaction yesterday?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, we knew she was going to go. I mean, Kenny's mailed it in last year. Wasn't it last Labor Day when he was upset about how I have to go out and do this job when there's crime? So Jim Kenny mailed it in. After his second term, it only took him a year before he realized, why do I have to do this? So I expect Jim Kenny to be down here in Florida on October 1st when people from all over the country start coming down to Florida for the winter to escape the crime-riddled cities from which they come.
Yes.
And so Jim Kenny trying to put it on Trump on what happened in the last 4 years in Philly.
And COVID.
And COVID, yeah. That may be the most tone-deaf, but this is the worst mayor. And listen, I go back to Richardson Dilworth, okay? The year I was born was the last time a Republican was mayor. And not that I'm saying the Republicans would do any better, but when you have one-party rule for 71 consecutive years and things don't get better, who are you going to blame? Oh, let's blame Donald Trump. But again, this is not an endorsement of Donald Trump. This just shows you the hypocrisy of these people who have no clue. But I have even more important news, guys.
What's that?
While you were sleeping, the 76ers, because you know we like to talk a little bit of sports, have hired 15 assistant coaches.
No.
I'm not making it up. The 76ers, not counting their head coach, that would be 16, have hired 15 assistant coaches. So there'll be one coach for each player, hoping that the 76ers can actually find 15 players to field a team this season, including, this is my favorite one, a new player development. They have 6 of the 15 assistant coaches are player development coaches.
That's
including
refreshing.
One guy, I believe it's a man, named Fabulous Flowerny. I'm not making this up. The coach's name is Fabulous, F-L-U-R, like flower, Flowerny.
Not Flower Town.
Fabulous Flowerny.
Exactly.
Sounds like a good. I saw them at TLA a couple of months ago. They were awesome. They were opening up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers a tribute band, and I got to tell you, it's a must-watch.
I was going to say Fabulous Flowerny sounds like a jobber wrestler from the 80s back in a bad promotion.
By the way, Trey Turner was on paternity leave, and the Phillies in San Diego last night. I don't know. I don't want to do an abortion.
No, we were talking.
Anti-abortion.
We were talking about this morning.
They were in abort mode last night in San Diego. 8-0. They lose one guy who's been unbelievable, and they lose 8-0 in San Diego. So I said the other night jokingly that I think the Phillies could win a lot of games if they could score 9 runs a night.
Of course.
And if they had scored 9 last night, they would have won 9-8. So when you score no runs after scoring 9 runs, chances are you are. This is deep thinking.
It is.
I don't think you're going to win many games when you score 0 runs.
I
You can
agree.
quote me on that.
Yes. Take that to the bank. Now, let me ask you this, because Dawn, Greg, and myself, we were having this conversation earlier with Trey Turner being on paternity leave. What is the right amount of time for a man?
Yeah.
And when you are making $330 million, I argued You go in, you see your kid delivered, and you got to get. You're not Bob from accounting making $58,000. Like I think he should be back to work, quick, fast, and in a hurry. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if Mayor Pete Buttigieg can get 3 months off for that. Isn't that what Biden called him? Mayor Buttigieg.
I like this one better.
Buttigieg. Yeah, Buttigieg. No, Biden called him Buttigieg.
I'll take a glass of Buddha juice.
I'll
Sounds
take
refreshing.
a glass of that too any day.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not on a Delta flight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever taken a cross-country flight, Tony, where somebody went down the aisle and soiled the runway?
No. When somebody opens up like a tuna sandwich or something on a plane, that's when I go for the emergency exit.
Good.
When somebody opens up a greasy onion-filled like tuna fish sandwich, that's when I seriously try to find. I go back to even though there's no smoking section and I haven't smoked in 35 years. I'll go in the back and smoke just to try to get rid of that nasty smell. Don't bring chicken sandwiches. I mean, now fried chicken's okay.
Right.
Don't bring your stinking tuna fish sandwiches or hoagies or onion-encrusted nonsense onto an airplane. That's worse to me than you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. By the way, the last time we saw that much diarrhea on a plane was when Joe Biden returned from his trip to Hawaii.
He's on. Hello.
We never get to see Air Force One. Imagine the cleaning that goes on in there. And by the way, remember one thing, guys.
Yeah.
You're okay. You're not going to
Exactly.
get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Exactly. And they're proven and they've been tested. We know these vaccines work. The ones that haven't even been released. And by the way, I did this on my show Friday night. You know those PCR tests that we'll all be going back to the pharmacy to get to stick in our nose unless we go to the hospital, and when they stick all the way up into your eyeball?
You speak for yourself. I'm not getting any tests.
No, but the ones that they send out, now you can go over and get 5 free tests if you're a senior. Do you see how you know where they make those? Because it's a sterile environment. You've had, for those of us who had COVID tests,
right?
You either go to the hospital and stand outside while the nurse is wearing gloves and surgical wear, and then they get that needle and make sure everything's sterile, and then they stick that thing all the way up until your head explodes. Well, guess where they make those? We have this is not a joke. This is not a joke. Not a joke, as Joe Biden say. Folks,
Not a joke.
Not a joke. This is where they make those very sterile PCR tests that you'll be running out in the next couple of weeks to make sure you get it, to make sure that, unlike Dr. Jill and Whoopi, you need to test. Did you put the picture up, Robin? Look at that. Now, I'm not making this. This is in China. There are people sitting on the floor. Look at that mountain.
Wow.
Those are all those long-tipped, Q-tips, and there's people sitting on the floor. No gloves, no masks, and they're sticking them into sterile containers that you, too, will be able to go to CVS, Walgreens, and everywhere else to pick up. And then you'll have to have a hazmat suit on to test your own stinking nostril.
Wow.
Is that unbelievable?
I just love the fact that you're bringing your own video evidence to the show tonight.
It's a fact-based show. I mean, listen, I've been listening since 6. I got up early today to listen, and I agree with everything you guys say, even when you disagree. I agree with Dawn. I love the fact that Dawn, during the show, can go on Twitter and get into a fight with somebody else. Well, that's why women are better multitaskers.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
When I go on, I can't. I can only focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, Dawn's had it with Greg.
Even though I go all over the place, when I focus on the task at hand,
right.
I usually get that done before
Which is
I
never.
move on to the next. But
Right.
Dawn going after a guy for going after her, that's woman power right there.
Well,
that's the kind of women I want standing up for their rights.
Exactly.
To party and to do everything else.
And this was actual audio footage of Dawn during the commercial.
Damn it! How much more do you expect me to take?
That is not People I see people on the YouTube stream say, "Oh, that's doctor." That's not doctor. That's what they do. And then there's another video of them making masks in India, and they're sitting on. They're using sewing machines, but at least they're on tables with a sewing machine to make those masks in another unsterile situation. So anybody who's out there going crazy about, you better make sure you get the wipes and you get them. I found a new job because, all those things you guys were talking about, on the floor, like in supermarkets, and then they have the one-way sign. Remember the one-way signs in the supermarket? You couldn't go up an aisle, and they were one way in and out. And if you went up the aisle and somebody was coming the other way, you'd look at the floor to see if the arrow was in the right direction. Right? That was a thing. I'm going to start printing out more of those I'm going to make it 4 feet. I think 6 feet is too much.
I agree.
Think now that COVID's over. You know what I mean? And
You're okay.
You're not going to get COVID.
You're not going to get COVID if you have.
You know what I want to do? You know what I want to do, Tony? Forget 4 feet, forget 6 feet. I just want to stand right up on somebody and get right behind their shoulder and just cough on them. How about that?
Well, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. So let me ask you this, because you just went through like 40 different things. I'm trying to make sure.
Well, I like to get as much as I cram it. I want to get to everything.
So you had Jill. She tests positive.
Yeah.
Whoopi tests positive.
Yes.
Joe's going back to masks. You've got the COVID masks in schools. Washington, D.C. elementary schools already going back. But your boy in your state, DeSantis, he banned it 2 years ago. So that's not going to happen in any part of the state of Florida. How great is that?
Listen, Ron DeSantis is the best governor. And the best part is that Gavin Newsom, who's probably the worst governor in the country, who wants to be the presidential candidate now, and he wants to debate. Why would Gavin Newsom want to debate Ron DeSantis when Gavin Newsom hasn't even announced he's running for president yet? At least DeSantis, who's struggling on his presidential campaign. That's the thing that's surprising to me, is that DeSantis is so good down here during hurricanes and getting things coordinated, and he's assertive and he's strong. Yet when he goes on the campaign trail, all of the dopes that are propping him up have made him turn into a robot, and that's why he's trailing badly. It's because he's been mishandled on the national front. They got him too uptight. You watch the guy here last year during Ian, and this year, last week during the Dahlia thing.
Yeah.
Nobody is in better command of his state and the things that need to get done. And so that's the thing that's surprising about. And I also was one who said when he won re-election that he should wait and not run this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's hurting him. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Trump, but the bottom line is, I think if Trump can't run and all these idiots in all these states are trying to keep him off the ballot using all these amendments,
Mm-hmm.
then DeSantis is going to be the nominee. I don't think there's anybody. I mean, the fact that Chris Christie is running to every television station, you notice he never asks for money or has a website because he's getting all this free publicity from all these CNNs and MSNBCs that prop him up because he's anti-Trump.
So
what does he offer?
Right.
Seriously, he had his chance too a couple years ago.
Yes.
Does anybody want Chris Christie to be president?
No. Nobody does.
They don't even want him in New Jersey anymore. They don't even want him in his beach chair when the whales come washing up while they build those wind farms out there off Long Beach Island.
So your thought is that the stage is not too big nationally for DeSantis. It's that he's got too many consultants in his ears trying to prop him to be something that he's not, and and just basically causing the guy to have like, you know what it is, Tony? It's like back in the day when we were doing sports radio, and our old boss would bring in a consultant, and he said, "You got to do this, this, and this," and you're like, "No, I think I'm just going to do what keeps working." Like
Exactly.
Like for
You're
DeSantis,
absolutely, it's like radio consultants who never were successful at their jobs in radio. They don't have a job, and then they become a consultant and tell you to do what you've been doing best forever.
Right.
And that's what's destroyed the business, and that's what's hurting DeSantis. I mean, DeSantis, to me, is the best governor in the country.
Right.
Not because I'm Republican or any of that stuff, but because he was assertive. That's why he won in a landslide here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right about the earlier caller and the earlier person who was talking about blue states and red states. Florida has, Palm Beach County. You go over to the east coast of Florida, that's all Democrat enclaves. Where what's-her-face, Debbie what's-her-name Schultz, and all of those people are running that debacle over there. So Florida's not completely red.
Gotcha.
It's just, it's a mixed up state like most states.
Exactly. Tony Bruno
Except
joining us.
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, where there are no Republicans and there never will be.
Exactly, and it's as blue as it gets. Tony Bruno joining us live from Florida here, Kayal and Company, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Hey, a couple of quick hitters before we get you out of here, because I know we talked a lot about Danielle Outlaw and COVID, but I wanted to get your thoughts because obviously you mentioned the Phillies, and if we were, back in the day doing what we used to do for 20 straight hours this week, it would be Eagles, Patriots, your thoughts, 610. So Sunday, Eagles, Patriots, week 1. What are your thoughts, Tony Bruno?
I've been breaking out. I have my own, for the first time in my life, I have my own fantasy league. Because I've never done fantasy, but I'm doing once every week, new game. Not the full season, the 1 week fantasy. And I don't make any money off this. Everybody plays. And if you want information, I'll post it on my Twitter account. I know you guys are involved with FanDuel, and it's a great company.
Yep.
but I'm doing a DraftKings one, and you can be in it $5 a week, $500 a week, $10 a week, a new winner every week. You can win multiple weeks.
Yeah.
I have to put in my league, my team, and everybody else does. So
and let the
there's still
record
some spots.
show, 10 years ago, you crushed me for playing fantasy football. You went on one of the most epic tirades on radio because I was obsessed with my fantasy football team.
Nick's keeping receipts.
Yeah.
Listen, I admit it. I was never, because I didn't want to do the full season thing, and I'm worried about, like, for example, Andy Reid announced that, his tight end is hurt. So the Thursday night game, you got one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in football.
Yeah.
May not play because he tweaked his knee. So that's what happens when you do the season-long things. And you can do whatever you want. I don't tell people not to play fantasy. You can do whatever you want. It's still America at this hour.
Exactly.
Check back afternoon when KJP gets up there and gives us more rules that we have to
I
follow.
would refer you to the White House counsel.
Yeah,
Thank
she's going to
you. I
refer you
would
to the
too.
White House counsel.
But the thing about the weekly thing is you only have to do it once a week. And we're not doing a Thursday game. So you don't have to worry about, I got to get my team in before Thursday night football. Sundays, Monday, boom. Every week you can win $500. But they take 10% like the big guy does.
Oh, yeah.
So you get like $450.
Right.
It's a total of 50 players. You're either in or you're out. And you don't have to play every week. You don't have to play every week. So
Yeah, so
that's the way we
when
do
are you
it.
going to tell me who you like on Sunday's game between the Eagles and the Patriots?
I'm going with the Birds.
This is just like 10 years ago where you wouldn't
I
make
think the 6 captains that they announced yesterday are going to make a big difference. When you have 6 captains going out to the field and you've got a beleaguered Bill Belichick up there in New England and he's got no quarterbacks. And I mean, the Eagles are favored, and they should be. Now, the 3.5, I'll let it marinate. I'm not going to make the pick now, but I think the Eagles should go up there and win because I think Belichick, for the first time in his career, other than the Cleveland debacle, I think he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
What say you?
Yeah, no, I got the Eagles by 10 points, Tony.
Wow.
Yeah,
By
I'm
10
going to lay
points.
the lumber. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
Now, by the way, I need to start a GoFundMe so I can pay for my YouTube channel, my NFL Red Zone. I don't have. I just have cable. All I have is internet, and I'm paying more to watch television than I did when I had the Xfinity package, which is an outrage.
Hey, I've got to read this text I just got. One of my friends, Ralph, down in South Philadelphia, is listening on the old school way on 1210 a.m. And he said, "Ask Tony, as a lifelong Philadelphia resident, does he ever think it will get back to the way it used to be when it comes to crime post Daniel Outlaw?"
Wow.
How about
I
that?
don't blame. No, I agree. I don't blame it all on her. I mean, she was put in a position where she came from Portland or Seattle or one of those towns where they didn't have any law and order, and then they propped her up here. And she was not in a position to win because you have a corrupt DA, a corrupt mayor, a corrupt city council, and so she was the one who would have to go out there while Jim Kenney was getting soused in a gin joint in South Philly somewhere. And so I don't blame her. But remember, she was in the running for the New York City police commissioner gig. Remember that?
Dawn said that
She was trying
earlier.
to look for an exit ramp earlier, and she didn't get that. But now I'm going to be happy. When I drive up past the Vince Lombardi toll station, the rest stop up on the Garden State Parkway when I'm going to New York, at least I'll be able to see her collecting a toll, knowing that she's in a spot where she can be happy, and nobody will have to worry about whether or not she's doing a good job.
Exactly right. Closing moments with Tony Bruno here on Kayal and Company. We got you about another 5 minutes. One of the other stories that I wanted to get to is where sports and society and politics kind of intersect. We know there's a lot of pushback in the world of athletics from athletes that didn't take the COVID vaccine. I don't know if you saw this or not, but at the U.S. Open, the big tennis event going on up in Flushing, New York, Aaron Rodgers, who's now the quarterback for the Jets, was there because, when you become a New York athlete, you have to go to, take in the U.S. Open. It's supposedly one of the best things you can do. It's a real fun time. And he's applauding Novak Djokovic, who, as we know, one of the world's best tennis players that was barred and was not allowed to compete in the United States because he was not vaxxed. And, of course, social media saw that, and, of course, they lost their ever-loving minds.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about Aaron Rodgers, last year when he was in Green Bay, all these media honks hated him because he spoke his mind. And now he's a Jets quarterback, and those same media people are propping him up and saying he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they're going to the Super Bowl. And now, because he speaks his mind again, I'm waiting for all the sanctimonious talking head sports writers to come out and blast Aaron Rodgers again. So Aaron Rodgers is playing tennis with the media. because one day he's a hero, the next day he's a bad guy. I love it. I love the fact that he's causing all the controversy in New York. Now the pressure's on him, but he's got a good defense, and the Jets should be good. But I don't know about Super Bowl. They still have to be able to block and protect.
Exactly right. All right, Bruno, good stuff as always. We appreciate the time. You got anything planned today later in Florida? What's going on down there, and how hot is it, by the way?
It's not as hot as it is up there. It's starting to
wow.
cool off here. The 90-degree days, the record is just about to end. So it's going to get nice here, and it's hot up there. This is climate change. And if we don't send Al Gore or send the rest of your paycheck or all of your 401k money to Al Gore, we, by the end of this year, the entire country and the entire world will explode, and then we can't put out any of the fires. We didn't start the fire.
As Billy Joel once said.
Only we can end not just forest fires, but
Smoky.
arson fires and all of these other climate change-caused problems. And by the way, local weather people, we don't care about the climate. Just give me the damn forecast. All these weather people now want to be climatologists.
Yep.
Just give me the damn 5-day forecast and try to be accurate. That's all I want.
Time and temperatures on the 8s.
Exactly.
There he is, the great Tony Bruno, live from Florida. Good stuff as always, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Good night, everybody.
Yes.
And as John
Good night,
Fetterman once
everybody.
said,
Hi. Good night, everybody.
Jeez. Wow, there he is, Tony Bruno. I just have a question jotted down here on my sheet, right? Just read him the question, wind him up like a doll, and he just goes.
It's awesome.
And sometimes I don't even get to question 2 or 3. He answers them before I ask him.
That's why the bi-weekly Bruno is now weekly Bruno.
Is that official?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving forward, you guys have asked for it. You've demanded it all spring and summer.
Yep.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
At 8:20.
8:20-ish.
Ish.
That's as long as Dawn and I don't argue.
Yeah. Are you guys
then
still
it
fighting?
might be 8:30.
You guys need to hug and make up in the hallway?
Oh, she knows I love her.
Yeah.
Grab a cup of coffee,
Love
talk
you.
it out.
No, we're just,
Yeah.
It's
we say it like it is.
It's spirited radio discussion.
That's right.
That's all we're doing.
Oh, okay.
'Cause we believe in the conversation.
I want to bring out the best in my people, and you're my people. So if I have to look like a jackass for doing it, then that's what I do.
Yeah, there you go. All right. That's the way it works. Hey, 1 hour from now, coming up at 9:50, if you've ever wondered what a Walt Disney World thrill feels like, well, there's only one way to know. You have to go.
Yeah.
Win a magical vacation package to experience an amazing collection of thrills on 1210 WPHT. Coming up in less than an hour, 9:50 this morning, we're going to give you the daily keyword. Yesterday, I think the keyword was wild. Then all you have to do is go to the website, 1210WPHT.com. Yes, people still go to websites, 1210WPHT.com. Your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Limited 1 entry per day per person. And this is a national contest.
That's coming up at 9:50, and 9:20 is the Reading Phillies tickets
Morning Mystery.
for the Morning Mystery Movie Club. We have, 9 o'clock is the hour to be here.
I agree. If you miss anything in the first 3 hours, you miss nothing.
Nothing.
It's an awful show today. Bruno couldn't stop talking. Dawn and Greg were fighting. There's the first 3 hours. All right, coming up next, final hour on the way. We've got Dawn's Big Three. Bill Maher says that the woke left progressives are just like the KKK.
Wow.
We're going to get to that because it's a very fascinating thought. And then also, Bill Maher loses his mind on Trump. So I got to destroy Bill Maher because he legitimately couldn't identify one single charge against Trump, yet went on a tirade that made him look incredibly uneducated. We'll get to both of those as we continue. Final hour, Kayal and Company, is coming up next. Stay right there.
QC Kinetics.
Hey, let's talk about QC Kinetics, and you should hear the rave reviews. If you've tried this, you know how good it is. I'm not exaggerating here. QC Kinetics can change your life, and you can live again without all that chronic joint pain, without drugs, without surgery. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. So they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint so that restores and repairs the damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. This is all natural, and the patient satisfaction reports, as I say, they're unbelievable. Finally, a real alternative to the so-called old ways of dealing with pain. So this means no surgery, no downtime, thanks to QC treatments. So if you're suffering in that constant pain, your knees, your aching hips, your shoulder, or your back, you need to call. Just get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Do this for yourself today. So you think about it. This fall, well, okay, after the heat wave, right? But cool, crisp weather. We're in the fall, the time when you want to go for that walk with the family or the grandkids. Just move around, doing the things you love, walking, hiking. Call QC Kinetics. See how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. And right now is the best time. Get started. They're right here in the Philadelphia region. 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000. QC Kinetics. Just call them. 215-999-3000. Tell them Dylan sent you.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control. You develop healthy eating habits that last you the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight. You will keep off the weight the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements. That's going to get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help keep the weight off. Locations throughout the East Coast are available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult at njdiet.com. njdiet.com, lose the weight for good.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to talk about my friends at Family & Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey. You've heard me talking about them nonstop, but now is the time to pay them a visit. Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey. If you're shopping for the perfect engagement ring, look no further. They have the top 5-star rating on Google with over 2,000 reviews. No one else comes close to that. Get the right ring. A ring from Family & Company Jewelers. Family & Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's back to school time. You need to call Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy. Does your child or grandchild need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown, 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of just 2 to 1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today, 800-300-0003, or online, newhopeacademy.net, 800-300-0003.
From Essington to Cochranville, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
I was searching on a
102. Welcome back in. Kayal and Company, fourth and final hour underway here on this Wednesday morning. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stenslin, Greg Stocker, Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo. As we head until 10 o'clock, it's going to be a great next 55 minutes or so. Coming up at 9:50, your keyword opportunity, day number 2, to take to our website for your chance to win a free trip and a free vacation to Walt Disney World. So you're just about 49 minutes out from that. Also, part 2 of the cut sheet, Dawn's Big 3 at 9:30, and your chance to secure some Reading Phillies tickets coming up at 9:20 with the morning mystery movie clip. Maybe we'll throw in a free car. Who knows what else we'll give away this
I don't think we're going to do a free car.
I mean, in 1 hour, you're going to get Disney World and Reading Phillies tickets.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just, what are you going to do? All right, I think Bruno's still talking to himself in Florida. We'll check back in. He's probably still screaming like Randy Weingarten was months ago. But it's some really good stuff. A lot of people reacting to Tony. And yes, Bruno will be with us each and every Wednesday throughout the fall. So set your Odyssey app alarm clock for 8:20 every Wednesday.
Is there an Odyssey app alarm clock?
I have no idea. I just kind of made that up on the fly.
That's a good idea, though.
That is a great idea.
How do I pitch?
Well, you can send...
I pitched that to the CEO. I get a little cut. Hey, boss, what do you think about this? The Odyssey app alarm clock.
I like it. I actually like it.
It might sell. It might sell. One thing that doesn't sell is woke. It never has. It never will. We've seen that from time to time as you hear all these companies and all of these networks that go pivoting hard to the left, and even some people on the left know it's an absolute charade and joke. And one of the things that I like about Bill Maher is, from time to time, he has some, and I think he's really talented, and I disagree with, probably 7 out of 10 things he says politically, but when it comes to the woke and the free speech stuff, I'm absolutely on board with what he says because, Bill Maher is one of these, quote, classic liberals, and he had a really interesting opinion on how the woke society of today is really no different than the KKK, where they share the same outlook on race. And I want to read you his quote. He was on, I guess this was a Saturday episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, and he discussed how liberalism has devolved into woke extremism. This after Rogan referred to the comedian as, quote, a 90s liberal, meaning his belief system is on par with leftists, quote, back when they were reasonable. And Bill Maher agreed. Bill Maher said, quote, I'm always trying to make the case that liberal is a different animal than woke, he said, because it is. And you can be woke with all the nonsense that now implies, but don't try to piggyback on what I've always believed. He explained that wokeness isn't an extension of liberalism, rather it's an undoing of liberalism. Quote, for example, in a colorblind society, the goal is not to see race at all anywhere for any reason. That's what liberals always believed all the way through. Obama, going back, Kennedy, everybody, Martin Luther King, end quote, Maher explained. That's not what the woke believe, he says, unquote. Quote, they believe race is first and foremost the thing you should always see everywhere, which I find interesting because that used to be the position of the KKK, that we see race first and foremost everywhere, end quote. And I was thinking about this. It's a really good point because we always talk about how the left always wants to put you in a box, and they are obsessed with identity politics. All they care about is your skin color, your religion, your race, your ethnicity, your gender, your sexual orientation. They don't care about whether you're a good or a bad person. They don't care if you have talent or if you should earn a job based on merit. It's identity, identity, identity 24/7. And I was thinking about this yesterday. If you look at everything like the extreme left does through the lens of race, doesn't that inherently kind of make you racist? Because if all you see is somebody's skin color, isn't that exactly what, quote, the left was trying to undo all these years ago? It's almost like in their quest to eradicate racism, which, as bad as it is, will never be 100% eradicated. Like, there's just some things in humanity and society that'll never go away. Cancer's never going to go away. COVID's never going away. Racism's never going away. It doesn't mean you stop fighting against it. But in their quest to eradicate it, they almost have made everything 100% of the time about race, which is like a wild evolution from, for the Bill Maher classic liberals of the world to now like, the fringe lunatic left-wing progressives, like the squad Dems, and all they ever pontificate. Like this past weekend, Jamel Hill, the former ESPN personality that now writes for The Atlantic about, everything race under the sun, she was coming out and ridiculing the mainstream sports media that they were inherently racist against new Colorado head coach Deion Sanders. Everybody probably remembers Deion Sanders, great athlete from the 80s and 90s, played baseball and football, great college football player. He's now the head coach of Colorado. And her takeaway from the big weekend upset of Colorado winning as like a 3-touchdown underdog after winning one game the year before was that the media didn't think it was possible because Deion Sanders was an African-American head coach and, quote, didn't deserve the job. I'm always stunned by the left's ability today, in this day and age of the left, to always make every single thing about identity politics. Where my stance has been very simple. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, gay, straight, whatever. It makes no difference to me. You do you. You have one life. I couldn't care less. Just give me the most talented people in any walk of life the job, whether it's the head of Odyssey, whether it's the head coach of the Eagles, you name it on down the list. Give me the most qualified people based on talent alone and, of course, hard work and everything else. And there you go. But yet here we are. Is Bill Maher onto something here? Because it feels like that breakdown of what the radical left has become. I mean, he's comparing it to the KKK. You hear that word and people kind of cringe, but I don't think he's wrong there. I really don't. And this was apparently on the Joe Rogan podcast. So if you wanted to hear it, you know where to get it.
You should watch the video of those two, the full episode, because it's interesting to see because they're both liberals, but they're almost kind of not.
Which is odd because I feel like most people that consume Rogan these days are middle of the ground, moderate to slightly right.
Yeah.
Yet Joe Rogan, I guess to you, and I didn't know this. I mean, I did not know Rogan's political identity at all. You're saying he is more left than...
He endorsed Bernie Sanders in 2016.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't consume the Rogan. I hear bits and pieces and clips, but he does it, 3 times a week at an hour a pop? And I've told you before, I know it's successful.
3 hours a pop.
Is it 3 hours a pop?
Yeah.
I think he's a little... I mean, I get it. He's look, I'm not knocking the guy. He's making way more money than I'll ever make. It just comes off, it's too dry for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know
it's different than a radio show, but it's like Rogan just, he's like, blah, 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 blah. He's
yeah.
Just, Bud Light.
Yeah, it doesn't help that he's stoned all the time, too, so it's
Well, wait, you don't like Joe Rogan?
No, I love Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay.
But to Nick's point, I don't really consume a lot of it. I'll consume bits and pieces. He did an interview with Hogan the other day that I watched some of, but I don't have time to sit there for a 3-hour podcast.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, you don't have time to sit here through our 4-hour show.
I don't, which, I do anyway, but I don't. So I just don't have time to sit there through a 3-hour podcast. So.
Okay.
I just think because he's not partisan, that gives him credibility. I also think he comes across as common sense. That's what I like about him. He's just common sense, says it like it is. Joe Rogan.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, although he'll have an occasional different stance where you think he's going to be railing against Bud Light. Yet during the Dylan Mulvaney thing, his thoughts were that the Mulvaney boycott to Bud Light reaction was way excessive and over the top, and the dude's sitting there still drinking a Bud Light on his podcast. So, but I guess when you're at that level, you can do that. All right, so I gave Bill Maher credit for that. I thought that was an interesting comparison where he talks about the left and the wokeness and comparing it to the KKK, where they made everything about race. Now I got to rip Bill Maher. Because Bill Maher, and this is where I dislike Bill Maher. He's got Trump derangement syndrome as well. I think Donald Trump lives rent-free in Bill Maher's head, And Bill Maher is one of the biggest haters of Donald Trump, which is fine. If you don't like Trump, I couldn't care less. You like whoever you like. It doesn't bother me one bit. But if you're going to ridicule somebody and crush somebody, you at least need to be able, when you're pontificating or bloviating, you have to at least be able to identify a single crime or a charge. I'm going to play you this audio. I believe this is the clip of Bill Maher claiming that Trump is a criminal, but he can't name his crimes. Let's take a listen. Bill Maher, welcome to Kayal Company.
Him. No, I
He's
agree.
also the only guy that didn't noticeably age the moment he got into the
No,
White House.
we did. We aged when he was in office. He was fine. You're right. He didn't look like he aged. He always looks the same. But he's a criminal, and he's crazy, and he's stupid. And crazy and stupid are two different things.
When you say crazy, what do you base?
Okay, let me give you an example. Stupid is like Frederick Douglass is alive, or the stealth bomber is literally invisible.
Right.
Or nobody knew health care was hard to solve. That's just stupid. He's very stupid. Crazy is like, it's important that the crowd at my inauguration was the biggest ever. And I'm going to make an issue of this for the first 2 weeks of my presidency, despite photographic evidence to the contrary. Or I'm going to steal these documents that I don't even know what they are, and I don't care, and I'm going to put them next to the toilet at Mar-a-Lago, and then I'm going to fight you to take them back, or not conceding the election. Those things are crazy. Or thinking I can somehow charm Kim Jong-un in Korea, although that might be stupid. Sometimes it crosses the line between both. But he's both stupid and crazy, and he's a criminal. You know, he's not being charged in these trials because he's a liar. They purposely didn't do that. Apparently it's okay. It's not illegal to lie to the American people. And of course he did lie.
Okay, so I believe it goes on further and further, and he's trying to claim that Trump's a criminal, but apparently when Rogan pressed him, he couldn't name a single crime that he's been charged with and or allegedly committed. Here's where I got to rip Bill Maher. Like this, and this is not just Bill Maher. This is a lot of people that said, "Oh, Donald Trump is stupid." Donald Trump with the pen. Donald Trump, and I'm just giving you the facts, has had all of these unbelievable business ventures and property, and you go on down the list. You don't get to where Trump is by being stupid. There are very few people that can be as successful as Donald Trump and make the money he has made in his lifetime and do it as a stupid individual. I used to think that the Kardashians were stupid. I no longer think the Kardashians are. If you can make the money you make, regardless of what people might believe about you, you're pretty bright in some capacity or some regard because you're counting and printing money that you can't even spend. So the notion that Trump is stupid, you want to say Trump is crazy, he pushes the envelope, I got that. Totally on board. I do not think that Donald Trump is a stupid individual.
Well, I agree with you 100% with what you just said. Just because you make money makes you intelligent?
I think if you are an individual that can carve out a niche or find a market where you can become, I don't know how wealthy Donald Trump is, $500 million, $2 billion, whatever his net worth is. I don't think that happens in most capacities by accident, and I certainly don't think you do that if I don't know anybody that's truly stupid that's got stupid money. Like I think there's a brilliant, I think what would be the old, it used to be mad scientist or something to that effect. I think Trump is so calculated and so he knows how to move the needle. I just don't think he's stupid. If you're gonna say he's a criminal, then, and I guess there's probably more to the clip, but I guess we didn't get all of it. You got to be able to identify the crimes. Has Bill Maher read any of the indictments? Does he know what he's charged with? I mean, but at the end of the day, my biggest takeaway is hammering, and this is what the left does, hammering on Trump is low-hanging fruit. It's the easiest thing you can do in media. And I think when you are that over, and I say over with pop culture and society, you hear the name Trump, and you've said this in the past, you go out on Market Street right now,
say the name Donald Trump. Everybody has an opinion.
Yep.
You're not going to find somebody that's like, Like, no, you either love Trump or you hate his guts. I just don't think you sit there and say it. And Bill Maher's a pretty smart guy, too. But Trump, stupid? No.
I always find it interesting that people will say, oh, he's stupid, or, he's evil, or
If he's
he's
stupid,
racist.
what does that make Joe Biden?
But they never said these things when he
yeah.
an entrepreneur,
When he was a
or when
media
he was
darling.
on, media darling at NBC for 16, 17 years. Nobody ever said it. You know what? If you think that he's all these things, sue NBC, because they put him up on their platform for years as one of their number one shows. You never heard boo. Suddenly he becomes a Republican.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody thinks that he's a true conservative.
No, of course not.
Right? But he became a Republican, became president, and now he's enemy number one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember as a teenager watching Donald Trump on WWF wrestling. Him and Vince McMahon he was at WrestleMania all of these years. I mean, you couldn't turn the TV on and not see Trump. He was in Home Alone 2. Remember, he's at the Plaza Hotel, which, by the way, did you know, speaking of that, when they recirculated and remade the Home Alone 2 movie, that I guess whether it's DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever, you get it now, you download it. You know they've deleted Trump out of that scene?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? The guy ended up becoming the president of the United States. Whether you like what he did in office or whatever you think about him, 2020, the whole bit. Like, he had an 8-second cameo in Home Alone 2, and they decide to retract that from the new release. That is so petty, and so that's the stuff that really makes my skin just catch fire.
Catch fire?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fired up. The Bill Maher stupid thing, because I like Bill Maher, dude, but Trump's not stupid. Come on, dude. Better than that.
I even think that even Trump haters would say that they don't believe Trump is stupid. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing.
My ex-mother-in-law would.
He can play the media better than any human being alive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that in itself is a skill.
Yes, I agree. When you can be top of mind to almost a vast majority of a population, you've got some innate ability that you can elicit an emotion and a response. Most people are not needle movers in this lifetime. You say this person's name, it doesn't do much for the person that you bring it up to. But you say the name Donald Trump, and it's just, and it's beyond just politics or entertainment. I mean, he's huge in the hip hop community. I brought that up to you yesterday. Which, by the way, I downloaded that full version of that song that we played, the remake for Rich Men North of Richmond.
Yep,
that's really good.
Is it?
Yeah. You should take a listen to it when you get a chance. All right, 855-839-1210. We've got 30 more minutes to go of greatness. 9:50 this morning. The keyword for our Disney contest. We still have What's on the Cut Sheet Part due. And right now, it's time to give away some Reading Phillies tickets with our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Think about it. You walk into a video store, you see 8-minute abs sitting there. There's 7-minute abs right beside it. Which one are you going to pick, man?
I would go for the 7. Yeah, I'd go for
Bingo, man. Bingo. 7-minute abs. And we guarantee just as good a workout as the 8-minute, folk.
You guarantee it? How do you do that?
If you're not happy with the first 7 minutes, we're going to send you the extra minute free. See, that's it. That's our motto.
That's right. That's good. That's good. Unless, of course, somebody comes up with 6-minute abs, then you're in trouble, huh?
No, not 6. I said 7.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
Oh, the great prize today, a 4-pack of tickets to see the Reading Phillies take on the Portland Sea Dogs coming up Saturday, September 9th. That's this Saturday. First Energy Stadium in Reading, Pennsylvania. Reading Phillies, Portland Sea Dogs this Saturday. Caller 12, 855-839-1210. You will get yourself a 4-pack of tickets, and we'll see if you can identify that all-time classic when we come back here on Kayal & Company.
There's nothing quite like local. Local is your weekly farmer's market or homemade strawberry ice cream. It's live music on the corner, yoga in the park, and a chance to try something new. That's why AARP is local. Here to offer free events and enriching experiences that can help with finances, family, and fun. We're here in the community, connecting you to what matters most, right when you need it. Find events that interest you at aarp.org/local.
Your neighborhood grocery outlet has the name brands you love, all at shockingly low prices. But do you ever wonder how we do it? Simple. We buy opportunistic items for less and pass the savings along to you. When a brand has excess inventory from packaging or manufacturing overruns, they call us. There's no club membership needed. So stop by your local grocery outlet today and let the bargain hunt begin.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Are you waking up soaking wet? Don't worry, you didn't wet the bed. It's sweat, which means your air conditioning probably needs service or needs to be replaced. Summer is still here for a few more months. If you want a company who's been servicing some of the same customers for 3 generations with honest pricing, no gimmicks, and factory-trained technicians, then Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning is for you. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekans.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Listen this Saturday as Penn State battles Delaware. Coverage starts at 11:30 a.m. on the home of Penn State football. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Traveling, volunteering, spending time with family. What's your retirement look like? With income planning from Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor can help you grow and protect your wealth. They'll look at your full financial picture and help you create a flexible strategy that considers things like market conditions and healthcare expenses, so you can stop worrying about the future and enjoy whatever comes next. Visit fidelity.com/income planning. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE, SIPC.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
You know what I love? Even with these hot evenings, I love my Spring Dance hot tub, truly. Just cool it down and feel the magic of those jets as they work through the stress of the day. That's why I love my Spring Dance hot tub. And you know, I've had it for years, and we just, whether it's by myself after a tough workout, just to kind of, and it's healthy for you as well, but maybe on a date night, on a Friday night, although not, maybe after the Friday night football, under the lights with my husband Larry, have a date night, or with the family. Get rid of the devices. Just sit, laugh, enjoy life, and cherish those family moments. That's what I really love about my Spring Dance hot tub. And they've been a sponsor for, many years. They were one of my first supporters here at WPHT. So I really hope that if you're thinking about a hot tub, just stop by, check them out, and say hello, say that Dawn sent you. But right now is the time to trade up to that new luxury hot tub from my friends at Spring Dance Hot Tubs. They have their annual trade-in event. This is once a year. Take advantage of this. is happening right now until the end of this month, which means you can save up to $3,000 off a brand new hot tub. And they're going to take that old leaking, broken hot tub and turn it into your new place to relax, entertain, and have some me time or some us time. Just visit my friends at Spring Dance Hot Tubs and find your location. Find the hot tub or swim spa of your dreams today. You can check them out at springdancehottubs.com, springdancehottubs.com, and start relaxing now. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Kayal and Company mornings. Rich Cioli afternoons. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company 927. Good to have everybody in here on a Wednesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Just hit the like and subscribe buttons. Big 3 at 9:30 coming up in just about 2 minutes. Looks like we have our morning mystery movie clip winner on the line. Ken is in Wilmington, and I believe he has identified the movie clip. Ken, good morning. What movie clip did we just play for you?
There's Something About Mary.
That is correct, sir. Congratulations. Nice work. You got the 4-pack of Reading Phillies tickets for this weekend.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for listening, and certainly thank you for playing, Ken. We appreciate it. Ken in Wilmington, driving with his car windows down at 100 miles per hour. I always love that.
How do you know it's 100 miles an hour?
In Wilmington, you drive fast. That's what Opelka does. I've seen him. You got to see Opelka in a golf cart, by the way.
Yeah.
Total madman. One quick story before we get to Dawn's Big 3. I teased this a little earlier this morning. If you're a man, you need to listen to this. And if you're a man who's trying to quit smoking and you've gone to vaping, you definitely should listen to this. Quick story from the New York Post. Vaping can shrink the testicles and cause sperm counts to plummet. This from the New York Post. Male e-cigarette users are losing more than their tobacco habit. New research on male rats has shown that vaping can shrink the size of testicles, hampering sex drive and reducing sperm count. Turkish scientists took readings of the rat's testicle size before and after exposing the animals to cigarette smoke and e-cigarette vapors, as well as identifying biomarkers of stress in the blood and genitals. And yet the impact of conventional cigarette smoke, as previous studies suggest, is even worse on the male organ, the researchers have confirmed. The sperm count of rats exposed to e-cigarette vapor was 95.1 million sperm per milliliter, compared to 98.5 in the group who were not exposed to any nicotine substances. An estimated 12 million men are currently using e-cigarettes. So for, what would that be, about 3.5% of the population? Dudes, you're trying to quit, you're going to the vape. Yeah, you might want to reconsider. Just a thought.
I see all these studies, and I don't vape, but I see all these studies. I'm just like, I don't know.
You dispute the science?
Yeah,
here?
I don't
Yeah?
know. Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I'm just trying to help out the bulk of our audience. You know, we're largely a male audience, but not predominantly, but largely. And
so it's affecting sperm production.
Yes.
And the size of the
That's correct.
Of the testes, but not the size of anything else.
No.
Okay.
Just the testicles.
So you could be all twig and no berries.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
Or don't.
Vape away.
Or don't. Keep vaping, baby. Vape, baby, vape. Drill, baby, drill.
Oh,
all right, 9:30. It's time for because we didn't do this in the 8 o'clock hour because we had Bruno and Bruno talked for 38 minutes straight. Let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9:30.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
And Big 3 at 9, sponsored by Wawa on this day of a heat wave where if you're outside today, it's going to feel like it's more than 100 degrees. A lawsuit alleges New Jersey's transgender prisoner policies put women in danger. This is a female inmate filing a lawsuit, which she says she was sexually assaulted by a trans inmate. In other words, this is a biological male with male parts, genitalia, at a woman's prison, and saying that over the alleged attack, the lack after the attack of corrective action by the prison guards about the sexually aggressive, harassing behavior of the transgenders placed under this administration, placed with biological females. Also claiming 2 female inmates reportedly became pregnant after some, and this was consensual sexual relations with the transgenders. In other words, putting biological males in the women's prison. What could possibly go wrong?
Right. Riley Gaines will have a hot take on this later today about if they compete in a swimming match.
Yeah, so that filed by Somerville attorney James Ronco.
You
so
notice
we'll follow
with
that
all
lawsuit.
these stories, it's never the other way around. It's never the biological female transitioning to a male. I feel like 99 out of 100 times when we talk about these stories, it's always biological male transitioning to female. That's just a trend I've picked up on. I don't know what the numbers might suggest, but
Well, we have a deadly tortilla chip.
Uh-oh.
Yes, a 14-year-old boy suddenly died after his family says he ate an extremely spicy chip. This is part of the viral One Chip Challenge Dare. So the Pequi snack maker says that its tortilla chips are coated with the world's hottest peppers and challenges consumers to try the chip and make sure you video yourself while you're trying the chip.
Man.
Yeah. And so the parents, this is a tragic ending with this one. The parents of this 14-year-old Harris Wolaba, the mom and dad suing the company. Their son died after trying the chip at school. Wasn't at home, was at school. Somebody had the chips, and he gets very sick. Goes to the nurse's office. The nurse calls the parents. They rush him to the hospital, where he's pronounced dead. Lawsuit.
is this the ghost pepper?
Wait.
The world's hottest pepper?
I don't even
Is it
know.
ghost? I
No,
could
it's
be
a
wrong.
chip.
It's
Right.
a chip, though.
But
They
it's
coat
coated
it. They
in-
coat it with a
Right.
type of a ghost pepper.
But it's sold in the United States, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how can they sue?
You know, back in my day, we just ate Cool Ranch or Nacho Cheese Doritos, and we ate the whole damn bag. Now these kids are eating. Was this a TikTok challenge? You said?
Yeah, it's one of those kind of.
Once again, another reason why that damn app needs to be banned.
But I think they're suing the tortilla chip maker, saying that the snack maker went on social media, advertised it to kids' audiences, even though they have a label like with the skull and bones that says not for children. But the lawsuit is claiming they went on social media, targeted the ads to the kids to try it. So that's why they're catering the lawsuit
A
to the
product in
company.
the United States that caters their. I mean, let's face it, kids eat chips. I'm trying to figure out how they would be deemed liable. That doesn't make sense to me.
Exactly.
So you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand how you can sue.
Right. Your chip was too hot and it killed my kid? Like, I mean, I know there's cases of, you go to a restaurant and the coffee was too scalding hot and you get burned and then you sue. And, like, I've heard those cases, but.
What's the name of the chip?
It's PAQUI, the Pequi chip company.
Okay.
And they say it's the world. These are the world's hottest peppers. I think the lawsuit details it, as I looked at it, is that what they're saying is that they specifically advertised and targeted children. So that even though their label says not for children and warns that this is a super hot chip and that you might have a reaction.
Yeah.
The parents and their attorney, they are alleging that they actually knew what they were doing, that they were targeting teens, and that was the audience that they were advertising to. That's what they're claiming.
Is it the haunted ghost pepper chip?
Yes.
Wow.
Zorenzo
Haunted
says
ghost
it's the Carolina Reaper.
Oh,
that he tried. I thought it was the ghost pepper one.
The Carolina Reaper?
I love spicy food, but as far as going up like the scale of hotness, I get to the point like habanero's my cutoff. Anything above habanero, I can't do.
Well, I will say that there are many schools across the nation who have already banned the chips on campus after reports of children being hospitalized after ingesting them.
Wow.
So kids are doing the challenge, and I think a lot of people, the parents are suing, but they want to also advertise to other parents. please make sure that your kids know about this and that they don't try it.
This is a potato chip or a tortilla chip.
I was told Gen Z's the future generation of America that's going to save this country. Okay, yeah, you guys keep believing that. These dopes.
Tragic.
Some died on D-Day. Others died eating spicy chips.
TikTok killed me because I tried to challenge.
Oh, my God. It's unbelievable.
Well, number 3 for the big 3, sponsored by Wawa, clerk control. Lawyers for Alex Murdaugh requesting a new trial yesterday in this explosive motion filed in Columbia, South Carolina, alleging that the court clerk tampered with jurors so she could secure a big book deal. This is Colleton County Court Clerk Rebecca Hill penning the memoir Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders.
Everybody's got a book deal, right?
Well, she apparently pressured jurors, allegedly pressured them, and because the clerk is somebody who's elected, and she's supposed to say, "What do you guys want for lunch?" or that sort of thing, to talk to them about.
Yeah,
she's not supposed to talk about the case. Apparently, she was very biased, and according to at least 4 jurors, she would say things like, "Don't believe his whole act," or things of that nature.
Yeah, I just saw the headline yesterday that his lawyers are trying to toss the whole thing out and get a new trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Oh, I don't know. I think that because of the book and because the jurors are now speaking out, I think he very well may get a new trial.
Have you tracked that case? Like, are you consumed by it?
I was not fascinated with it.
I haven't gotten into it much.
Fox was obsessed. They covered it. They loved it.
Yeah.
I know that some networks covered it. I was not that into it. To me, I just thought the evidence was very clear.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. Yeah.
But it's a horrifying case. But
of course.
In any event, the clerk, wow, to tell the jurors, don't buy his, bold blank.
Yep.
We are sponsored by Wawa. It's Sizzly time at Wawa, and you know what that means. All your favorite Sizzlies, just 2 for $5, like their new pancake sizzly. Great mornings start at Wawa. Thank you, Wawa, for sponsoring our big 3 at 9.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Coming up next, actually right now, it's time for What's on the Cut Sheet, Part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Everybody's favorite Republican, and I say that in jest. Chris Christie was on with CNN's Anderson Cooper last night. Sloppy Chris Christie, indeed. Discussing the fact that he's polling at 3% right now. So everybody else had a little bit of a bump from the debates, not him so much. But he says that national polls are useless and that we should actually just focus on individual states. He seems to really be focusing on New Hampshire because that's allegedly the poll where he's doing the best. This is what he said to Anderson Cooper last night.
You say these national polls are essentially useless at this point. You look at New Hampshire. What do you see when you're in New Hampshire? What do you see when you're in?
Well, the latest poll in New Hampshire has Trump at 34, not at 52. Has me at 14, not at 2. And that means 66% of the people polled in New Hampshire don't want to support Donald Trump.
Your argument when we talked last time was that if the dam breaks in Iowa or New Hampshire, then that's it. Then if somebody else wins in either of those states, then the dam will break elsewhere. What evidence do you have that that's the case, that somebody in South Carolina is going to pay attention to what somebody in Iowa and New Hampshire thinks?
Because a lot of people will say they're for Trump now because he's winning. And they say, well, okay, if it's inevitable, I'll be with him because I don't like Biden. The minute someone else is feasible, is plausible, and by winning either the caucuses in Iowa or the primary in New Hampshire, you're more than feasible or plausible. You're now someone who has defeated Donald Trump. That becomes a whole different story. And I would say to you, too, remember that in a place like New Hampshire, and I saw Jeff Zelany's setup piece for this. I mean, at the end, these folks are looking at this, and there is a big divide between men and women on this issue, too. And I'm seeing a large number, probably 2/3 to 1/3 at my town hall meetings, women to men. Because I think that women in much larger numbers have abandoned him. And if you look at that poll that came out, the Wall Street Journal poll, 62% of independents say they won't vote for him. Well, if 62% of independents won't vote for him, he's not winning the general election.
So my takeaway from this is certain polls mean absolutely nothing, but find a poll where you're above 5% and it means the world. And even in New Hampshire, in the poll that matters, he's down 20 points to Trump there.
Yeah.
And he's wearing that like he's carving away and chipping away at his lead. Come on, dude.
It is interesting because even I think Joy Behar said something about Chris Christie about how he's like a Democratic savior or something like that. Like the Dems love him.
Oh, of course they do.
They love him.
Of course they do.
Because he's taken on Trump.
Yeah.
I just, there's no, I've said this, that I believe that there is a, he has a lane in the primary as being the anti-Trump guy.
Correct.
I get what he's doing. But that lane is not going to get him the GOP nomination. No. Could it be appealing in a general election? Maybe. I think he would do better in a general election than he would do in a primary. But he's not going to get past the primary, so it doesn't matter.
Right. And I know he keeps saying, well, I'm not doing this for a TV deal and a TV gig and a contract. I had one I walked away from. When you are on the Republican side, so to speak, and all you do is bash Trump, to your point, he's like mainstream media's darling. He's on The View. He's on Anderson Cooper. I'd be willing to bet he gets some big-time TV deal in the next 2 years.
By the way, there's been a lot of comments all morning, Nick, on the shirt that you're wearing right now.
We can see. Is he wearing an Atlanta Braves jersey again?
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see it. It's clearly in Alabama.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, we established this last fall, the last time I wore this.
I know.
So for those that missed the show on November 13th of 2022.
You were wearing it apparently during one of when the Phillies were playing the Braves.
That's correct, yes.
And I got a few DMs, direct messages, people saying like, not a good look for your new guy to be wearing an Atlanta Braves shirt.
We don't want to hear sports.
I was
when the guy starts wearing a sports shirt, it's
And then to be honest with you, I don't really look at what you're wearing, so I couldn't tell you what you're wearing. But
this is Alabama.
I had to go back and look, and I was just like, was he wearing an Alabama? Like, he's a Phillies fan.
Well,
There's no way he was.
The A's are somewhat similar.
They are similar.
Yeah. But this is crimson and white. The Braves are red, white, and blue.
I get you.
Come on, pal.
Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
I would have hired you if you were going to be an Atlanta Braves fan.
No.
There's a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
I just left Atlanta. But didn't he do Atlanta sports radio? What's he doing up here now?
I'm just saying. Didn't work out too well for him.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're referring about. Yeah.
Democratic strategist Ashley Itenia said this on one of the Sunday shows. We say what are the Dems going to run on, which is because they can't run on the economy, obviously. So what are they going to run on in 2024? She spells it out here. This is cut 10.
I'm paying attention to the issues that that are driving voter turnout. That's what's going to be important to me. Is it going to be abortion? Is it democracy, the fragility of American democracy? Is it the economy? What's going to turn out voters, but specifically these independent voters that are going to make the difference?
What do you think is going to really get them out this fall?
Well, I think it's going to be abortion. I think it's going to be democracy. It's those two issues. And that's
issues from 2022.
Absolutely. And that's what the president and his campaign are banking on. They're going to make those issues central to his argument. One, we know for a fact, well, according to polls, 70% of independents don't want a candidate who's anti-abortion. And when it comes to democracy, half the country believes that Donald Trump is guilty of having cheated the election. So those are going to be two issues that they're going to keep very central to the argument because it drives Democratic base, but it also drives independent, moderate Republican voters, and they're going to make the difference in all of these elections.
Well, I think they're certainly going to bank on abortion, that's for sure. Post Roe v. Wade, that's right in their wheelhouse. I don't know that they're going to. I mean, you could argue that whole democracy thing, which I'm so sick of hearing.
They're just doing the 2020. I mean, people criticize Trump for reliving 2020. The Democrats are doing exactly that.
Absolutely.
They're relitigating 2020 again. It's going to be the same thing that they ran on in 2020. Women's rights are going to be taken away. Democracy's on the ballot. It's what they ran on in 2020 and 2022.
And throw in a little racism. A little climate change.
By the way,
that in.
I know we have to break. Sid Weiss says, I'll never understand why people wear college team gear and never went to that college.
No. I'll explain that to Sid in the DM later today.
Unless your kid went to it, or your mom, or your somebody special to you.
Or you just like the best college football team around. Like you're you're a front runner.
Yeah, for a front runner since I was 7 years old. It's crazy.
Well, they've been good for that long, haven't they?
Yeah, they had a lot of bad years in between.
Did they?
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Okay.
Like, I didn't go to Penn State, but my kid goes to Penn State.
So you're a Penn State fan now?
Yeah.
Well, that's good because you can hear him every Saturday here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
See what he did there?
That's correct.
I think they played Delaware this week. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is Opelka preempted?
No, I think he's doing a 2-hour show on Saturday night, 8 to 10. So you'll still get 2 hours of Opelka instead of 3.
All right. Coming up next, we'll find out what's on tap for the Dawn Show, as well as who won Twitter today. Kayal and Company.
The movie. You have to promote what's coming up in 4 minutes.
Oh,
the movie.
I mean, how could I forget? No, not the
Or
movie.
the Disney.
Disney World, baby.
Thank you.
The keyword.
Yeah.
9:50.
Coming up in 3 minutes.
It's coming up next.
Oh, kids, Mickey Mouse.
Stay there.
Make Hatfield a part of your back-to-school routine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hatfield makes it easy to create flavorful meals in minutes your whole family will enjoy. With a wide variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham and bacon, Hatfield provides delicious back-to-school meal solutions for your family's busy schedule. So before you head for the practice fields or rehearsal, find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for easy back-to-school recipes and to find a retailer near you.
We at Aqua believe water is essential. That's why Aqua Pennsylvania invests more than $300 million yearly to ensure the treatment and delivery of safe drinking water to your homes and businesses. It's also why we ensure wastewater is treated properly and returned to streams and fields cleaner than when we removed it. You can save money and help the environment by finding and fixing leaks in your home, which can reduce your water and wastewater bills. Aqua, an essential utility, making sure quality water is there when you need it.
O'Reilly Auto Parts proudly introduces new Brake Best Select Pro brake pads and rotors. For superior stopping power and professional-grade performance, stop at O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. All Rescue and Niva supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. Whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or that radiant glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, vitamin gummies, and so much more. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE. That's 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with up to 70% off. Again, up to 70% off Rescue products site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com. Get this Labor Day deal now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The manhunt for the escaped convicted murderer in Chester County enters its 7th day. More Philadelphia schools without air conditioning will have early dismissal today because of the heat. And the former leader of the far-right group, the Proud Boys, has been sentenced to 22 years in prison.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
I'm Jack Wagner, host of the show Otherworld, a podcast that tells stories of real people who experience something paranormal or unexplained. Before Otherworld, I wasn't even interested in the paranormal. That changed when I realized how many people are out there who have experienced something extraordinary and never told anyone about it. I started this show to take a grounded approach to the paranormal, help people tell their stories in their own words, and encourage more people to come forward with their own. Listen to Otherworld now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you'll learn proper portion control and develop healthy eating habits. With NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40-plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. Lose weight quickly, the healthy and natural way. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
On the turning away from the pale and downtrodden.
All right, welcome back in. Kayal and Company, 9:50. Here on a Wednesday morning, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It is that time, second day in a row, where we are going to give you a keyword. And you're going to take this keyword, write to 1210WPHT.com, and look for the spot where you can enter the keyword for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Limit one entry per person per day. The keyword this morning is thrills.
Thrills.
THRILLS. Thrills.
Thrills.
Can you use it in a sentence? THRILLS. So keyword thrills, 1210WPHT.com, and we'll have another keyword tomorrow morning at 9:50.
Wow.
All right. And this is all week, right?
We're doing this all month.
All month?
Yeah, till the end of September. September 29th is the last. So
how about that?
Every day at 9:50, well, Monday through Friday at 9:50, we'll be giving away another keyword.
Okay. And every day at 10 o'clock, the Dawn Show comes your way. And right around now, every day, we find out what's on tap.
Yes, coming up at 11, we'll talk to environmental advocate, voice of the ocean from New Jersey. She used to be a biggity big media darling, but now that she's speaking against all the New Jersey offshore wind turbines and those huge turbine projects and how they're killing whales and dolphins and actually warming the ocean, she'll be along to give us an update on what's happening in New Jersey. That's at 11. And coming up after I update the breaking news of the day and the developing stories at 10, Ben Manis from Broad and Liberty, our friend, joins us at about 10:04, 10:05. He just had a great piece, his take on the new police commissioner and looking ahead, who's up next, who's teed up for this job. So you'll definitely want to tune in and hear that one. Who do you think will be getting the new commish job, no matter who's Philadelphia mayor? And what does it mean for all of us? All coming up.
All right, the Dawn Show in just about 7 minutes' time here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We wrap it up on a Wednesday with Who Won Twitter Today.
Who won Twitter?
An exile in Jersey wins Twitter. Nobody beat it. Can you, oh my God.
Beat
it. Nobody beat his tweet from 8:12 this morning, where he says, "I'll listen to a Dawn and Greg podcast as long as there's no shilling for YouTube likes and subscriptions."
There you go. Just downloads.
Just download. Exactly. Greg in exile in Jersey wins Twitter on this. What's today? Wednesday.
That's correct. We're already halfway through the week.
Woo. Thank God. We should have. Should we have Monday off or Fridays off?
Fridays.
Rotate them.
Okay.
I think moving forward, the week is officially halfway over once we get through the Bruno segment. There you go. Okay, stay tuned. The Dawn Show is coming up next. We're back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. But right now, here is Dawn Stenzelin with a word for innovative refunds.
Yeah, because innovation refunds, they are innovative, and they've been helping small businesses who qualify to get a business payroll tax refund through the ERC. So that's the Employee Retention Credit, and it's a tax refund for businesses if you kept employees on the payroll for parts of 2020 and 2021. As you know, these were during pandemic lockdowns and mandates and really tough times. So businesses with more than 5 employees, you could have money just waiting to be claimed if your business faced challenges to the growth that it would have had without pandemic government orders. It also may be eligible for a substantial refund. So Innovation Refunds survey research shows a large number of small businesses who had between 5 to 500 full-time employees in 2020 or 2021, you might be eligible for that ERC tax deduction.